mock trial. Now I hope you all are totally aware with the rules. So let us begin with slot 3. So there is a slight change. We will be beginning from Aryan Gupta, computer science engineering, who is playing the character of Loki and delivering the speech in English. Aryan Gupta, are you present?
Yes, ma'am, I'm present.
All right, the stage is yours. You may begin your defense.
Your Honor, I'm Loki, Prince of Asgard and the God of Mischief. I stand here in front of you, burdened with glorious purpose to absolve myself of the allegations put against me. I'm being accused of trying to conspire against Thor and Odin to overthrow the Asgardian regime. Well, Your Honor, first of all, I didn't just try to overthrow the Asgardian Empire. I was successful in it. I did end up being the ruler of Asgard, and I could have continued my reign too, if it only wasn't for my brother Thor. Oh, the mighty Thor. Everyone loves him. The god of thunder, the wielder of Mjolnir, Earth's mightiest hero. He was my father's favorite too. My father even decided that he would be crowned king while we were still kids. But what does that leave me with? Why was I not given a fair chance? I know the answer to that. It's because I am the son of a Frosian, Loki Lofison. I am just a stolen relic to him, a monster that parents tell their children about at night. My heritage, it deprived me of my destined greatness. So I deprived the frost giants of their life. Those frost giants deserve to die for giving me that skin, the same skin that acted as a barrier between me and my throne, that acted as a barrier between me and my father. My father never, my father was never proud of me. He never saw the potential in me. But there was one who did see that potential, the Titan Thanos. So, with the Chitauri army at my disposal, I led the siege upon Earth. And Your Honor, please, can you seriously blame me? Those creatures were meant to be ruled. It's in their natural state to kneel before us. It pains me, hurts every damn bone in my body to know that despite all the efforts I made, I'll never be my brother's equal. Do you even know how it feels to live your life being told at every moment that all your efforts will undoubtedly go to vain? I was just a child. I needed my father's love. I needed his approval. I wanted an identity of my own. I wanted to be rightfully called Loki Odinson. But alas, I guess some dreams never come true. In the end, I would just say that with the kind of upbringing I had, even a saint wouldn't help himself from doing a little bit of mischief. Thank you.
Okay, so hello there, Mr. Loki, God of Mischief. Enough crying about you being adopted, your father not loving you, etc., etc. You quoted something about enabling the Chitauri army attack on the people of Midgard.
Yes.
So you said those creatures were meant to be ruled. How could someone who isn't deemed able to rule their own people, that is the people of Asgard, claim himself, claim that people of Midgard are meant to be ruled? How would you justify attacking them?
The people of Midgard, those puny creatures, they're beneath me. I'm supposed to rule them. It's in their destiny, it's in their nature. It's not a question of if or why. It's just the natural order of things according to me. Why should I not rule them?
So it still didn't clear the fact that you were considered unworthy of ruling by your own father, by your own foster father. So how could you claim yourself that you are able to rule that the creatures of other planets and the creatures of Midgard are puny? It still didn't clear the fact. If you want to clear it again, please go ahead. Then, uh, if not, then
I
you
don't
are over to the next jurors.
I don't feel that there's any distinction that prevents a frost giant from ruling those creatures. That's why I felt that I could rule them. And I wanted to prove to my father that I could rule them and I could rule over the Asgardians too. They would flourish under me. That was my motive.
Okay, over to the next jurors.
Okay, so Mr. Loki, you often claimed that you are, misunderstood, that you are not inherently evil, but simply seeking recognition. Yet your actions, your deception, your manipulation, and even murder speak otherwise. Do you honestly claim to be a victim of circumstances, or just, do you acknowledge the pain and chaos you have willingly inflicted on others? Matlab, how do you expect others to believe in your redemption when your actions have consistently caused harm to them?
There wouldn't be any need of those actions if I just had been recognized from the start. But even if I did many things, some of them were right and some of them were morally grey too. But my father could have stopped me from doing any of those things if he just gave me that recognition. Why why is the blame always on me? Why is does no one talk about Odin when they talk about my bad deeds? He is the root of them, not me. He is the cause. I am just the effect.
But despite your repeated betrayals, you were given chances for redemption. By Thor, by Frigga, even by the TVA. Time Variance Authority. Do you regret not seizing those opportunities for a fresh start, and do you accept that your inability to let go of your desire for power is what has led to your downfall? Like, do you believe you are still capable of a genuine change, or are you forever bound to by your nature as the god of mischief?
I feel that being the ruler was my birthright too. I could choose to be someone else or play a better part or some other part, but no. I would always try to use my birthright first. The destiny I was granted with, I would always go for that first.
Loki, you just
Yes.
said ruling was a birthright, but you also mentioned you committed all the crimes just because you didn't get what you deserved according to you. Don't you think a ruler, like being a ruler, you are contradicting yourself? Like if your things aren't going according to your way, you will start doing anything you want, may it be genocide, killing, mass murdering, anything. Do you think that's what a ruler is supposed to do? And if yes, then how can you say that you are eligible to be a ruler?
Well, according to my father's words, a good ruler should never set out to do a war, but must always be prepared for one. But is that the only ruling ideology? Is that the only ideology which a king follows? I might differ, my ways might differ from my father's or Thor's, but are they really that wrong?
What if they are?
Well, I don't feel they are. If I just had been given a chance, I would show them they aren't that wrong. In the grander scheme of things, my rule would eventually lead to a good government, a flourishing empire. That's
But you
what
said,
that's
but
what my belief is.
you consider those your people puny. You repeatedly call them puny people, humans, or whatever, your Asgardians. Do you think a ruler who considers their people to be puny or like not worthy enough can actually rule with keeping people's benefits in mind. Do you think that?
I do feel they are puny. I'm not scared by them, but that doesn't mean that I would exploit them if I ruled them. That's what my answer is for that question.
So is anyone asking a question? Julius? I guess no. Yes. Loki, not Odinson. My first question, or my last question also, to you would be that, according to me and according to the popular opinion, you are the perfect example of what a king should not be. And while seeking the throne, you chose for methods and ways which a king or a people's servant, if you think of a king as a servant of the people, if you consider him a servant of the people, he would not utilize those ways. He would not go ahead with those ways, the ones you chose. Can you justify your actions, manipulating the people of Asgard? So much so that you could have also chosen the right ways to be the king. You could have, outperformed Thor in all aspects, but still you chose manipulation, you chose deceit, you chose lying, and all those things. So, do you have any defense?
My defense will be that even if I could outperform Thor, it wouldn't have mattered. They would never have given me the chance. But let's set that aside for a moment. I feel that a ruler can also rule with an iron hand. A, s- a powerful ruler is required to to keep the kingdom under control, and that's what my ideology was. I could, and although my ways might have been a bit morally grey, I still would have led a great empire.
So, from what I can gather, you function a lot on assumptions, right? First thing being that you wouldn't have been given the throne. Second being that you would have been a great ruler. So don't do you not for a second think that you might actually be very delusional, not actually very practical in your approaches? Because to me, you are appearing to be very very much self-centered and narcissistic, which you obviously are. But still, given that you wanted to be a king, you should have some ounce of selflessness in you. So do you still think that even after all your attempts and even after all your flaws and vices, you deserve that throne very specifically? And if you were to be ruled by a same king as you are as a person, do you think that you would still accept that person as your king or would welcome this decision of that person being your ruler? Forget Thor, forget Odin. I'm just asking you this very abstract question.
Yes, yes, I understand. Yes, under the Titan Thanos, for a while I served him. He was my master. He was powerful. He had a good vision, and he ruled with an iron hand. I understood my weakness in front of him, and I served him. I don't regret that one bit. In fact, that was one of the first times that I found my own purpose, that I felt that I was something, because he believed in me.
And what happened to that belief? And he choked you to death.
Well, I guess I can't answer that.
No issue. So second year team, sir, if you would like to ask some questions.
Carry on, carry on.
So second year team, if you have any questions, then ask or else we should let him go.
No,
And
sir, I think we should call the next participants.
is there a host in this meeting? Because I joined a bit late. I don't know.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Tulika is hosting, but
No issues. Carry on.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Aryan. Great job done. Now
Thank you,
next
respected
we
ma'am.
have
Respected sir.
Man- Now next we have Mansi Jain from First BTech Information Technology. She will be defending Muhammad bin Tughlaq from the Tughlaq dynasty of the Delhi Sultanate, and she will be delivering her speech in Hindi. Mansi, you have the floor for you. You may go forward in your defense.
Good evening to one and all. I, Nancy Zen, from BTech Information Technology, is going to defend Mohammed bin Tughlaq. मैं, मोहम्मद बिन तुगलक, जिसको इस पूरी दुनिया ने एक पागल बादशाह करार कर दिया है।
Excuse me,
अब
Mansi,
तक
sorry
अपने
to
ऊपर
interrupt.
लगे उन सारे इल्जामों को गलत
Excuse
साबित
me,
करने आया।
Mansi. Yes, so before you proceed any further, I'd like to request you to please fix your audio setup because your voice is very, very low in amplitude. If you would please, sit a bit closer to the mic. If not, then you can carry on. We'll manage.
She is rechecking her mics and the setup. I think we should go ahead with the next one.
Up next, we have Fariha Asif from First BTech Information Technology. Fariha will be defending Pandora, and her medium of delivery will be English. Fariha, you have the floor for you. You can speak in your defense.
Yes, ma'am. Just a second. Ma'am, am I visible?
No, you are not visible. You're audible.
Just a second. I have to give permission to respond. Just a second, ma'am. Sorry for the.
Meanwhile, ask if Mansi is ready. If Priya is
Ma'am, am I visible?
ready.
You're not visible, Fariha. Mansi, are you ready?
Still not visible.
If Priya is ready with her
Yes,
setup, so
Fariha.
Tulika.
Okay, Fariha. Fariha, please move.
Oh, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Fariha Asif, First BTech Information Technology. I am here today to defend Pandora for disobeying God's rest. I, Pandora, stand before you today, not as the harbinger of all evil and suffering, but as a woman who got caught in the web spun by God's rivers. I never intended to cause suffering. I too am a victim, a pawn in God's vicious revenge plot against Prometheus. It was God who bestowed upon me the gifts of beauty, grace, wit, and curiosity. Not even in my worst nightmare I could have known that this curiosity of mine, something engraved deep in my fabric, could cause such catastrophe. It was Zeus who gave me the box and commanded me not to open it, without even the slightest warning of the horrors that lay inside it. How could I resist? Its enigma had become maddening. If the curiosity that the gods put in me is a flaw, then how can I be blamed for simply being me? Zeus used me as a scapegoat for his revenge against Prometheus. Uh, just think for a moment. He gave me the box, completely aware of what would follow, and implanted the thirst of knowledge inside me. I never acted out of malice or disobedience, but out of a pure desire to discover. I made the mistake of acting on my nature, but as soon as I realized what disaster has been unleashed, I closed the box and saved hope. It was not crushed or lost, but preserved. I am merely a human, an imperfect creation of the gods. How can I be blamed for something that divinity designed me to do? Perhaps it is not I who should be judged, but those who locked the miseries inside in the first place. Thank you, and thereby I rest my argument.
Okay, so hello there, Pandora, the first woman to walk the surface of Earth. Enough of crying about how you were a victim to God's angers and so much hate towards your own gods, your own Greek gods. I guess we have to charge you for blasphemy too. So the I have two questions. You defended
Yes, sir.
yourself as a victim to God's revenge, uh, and not as the enabler of all the miseries that you brought upon the world. So how can you defend yourself as the bringer of miseries to the world, because you were the creator, you somehow enabled the miseries to enter the human world. And number two is, the after you close the box and saving hope, which you call is a good thing, isn't hope the expectations under the expectations also the cause of miseries in the world? We expect I was expecting you to perform better, so I was expecting Pandora to perform better. How so? It can also, the hope can also bring me misery. So how can we defend hope?
Sir, can you repeat the questions one by one, please?
First question was, you defended yourself, you yourself quoted that you are here to defend as a victim of goddess's revenge plot,
Yes, sir.
and you not as the enabler of miseries to enter the world. So defend yourself as the mother of miseries in the world. Okay, how could
So
see?
I so I would like to say that I was created with certain qualities, and curiosity being one of them by those gods. Just imagine being handed an object by gods and not having the slightest idea of its contents. The jar was a mystery to me. It was something which was withheld from me. Yes, I indeed was aware that opening it might reveal something unknown, but I was not given any reason to believe that it would lead to world suffering. You tell me one thing honestly. Would you have not opened the box, uh, given the way that I was made curious? So today you are asking me questions. Out of what? Out of curiosity. So am I not supposed to have same curiosity, or are you the only one to be entitled to ask questions or to be curious?
What
Yes,
if
sir.
I say am
That's all I have.
what Okay, what if I say, so you are asking me another question. So what if I say I am a true devotee of my God, and one word of his is enough to compel me not to open the box. See, what if I say no? I won't open the box because my God said so.
Uh, I would like to add on that I was the first woman. Okay, so I was created by gods, and it was them who just designed the box, and he knew what miseries and what evils laid inside it. I wasn't aware, and he made me curious. He made me thirsty for knowledge. That was a trait that he put in me. And as for the word curiosity without full knowledge, I would not call it recklessness. I would rather term it as exploration.
Pandora,
Uh, yeah, that's what I have to say.
Pandora, I
Yes,
would like to
so
ask, do you blame your
the,
gods for everything and believe that
Uh,
you play no part in unleashing anything, the miseries or anything? Like, do you blame the gods for it all of it?
uh, no, I cannot deny that suffering was unleashed. I played some part in it, but I urge you to see the whole picture. See, the jar also held hope, which I allowed to remain in the world. Without hope, humanity would be lost in despair. Indeed, I unleash sufferings into the world, but suffering, though they are terrible, but they did not came without a balance, and that balance was hope. And the release of hope is as significant as the release of evil. So
That's
I
arrogancy
ask
right
that,
there. That's arrogancy right there.
yes,
You
sir?
are taking credit. You're taking credit for releasing hope. But on the other hand, you are saying you were helpless while releasing misery and all. Isn't that bigotry, don't you think? Because you're taking credit that you
No, ma'am.
released hope. Yeah, please justify yourself over here.
Okay, ma'am. I would like to say, first of all, that box, when I opened it for the first time, it unleashed all evils. Okay. And then I closed the box as fast as I could. But when I was closing the box, I saw something bright, something comforting, and that was hope right there. I could have just ran away and let the world be crushed under the weight of all the miseries that had already been unleashed. Okay, it's something that's done. Okay, that was irreparable. But uh, I let out hope into the world, and uh, hope is a light that guides us through the darkness of miseries. And I believe that my actions are not actually a curse, but a complicated gift.
Okay. So
So
may I ask
the
a
hope,
question? Second year. May I
yes,
go
sir.
ahead? Cool. Yeah. So Pandora, a fellow human being from Earth 6167. Uh,
Yes,
yes.
sir. So you are
So,
not clearly audible.
uh, just a second. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible now? Yes. So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are.
so a fellow human being from Earth 6167. So I have three, not three, more than three. My first question is a simple yes no question. Not a yes no question,
Okay, sir.
just an objective question. Do you consider yourself a human being or God?
I consider myself a human being. Just now in my speech, I said that I am merely a human, an imperfect creation of the gods. So yeah, I consider myself a human.
Name any five qualities that humans possess. Any five qualities that humans possess.
First one, a trait to make mistakes, curiosity given to me by the gods, and acceptance, responsibility, holding accountability, and feeling guilt.
You not mentioning wisdom is proof enough that you lack it. You could have easily rejected all these gifts. You received many gifts from Zeus and all other Greek gods. You obeyed those orders. You married
Sir, it
Epimetheus
was
on
a
orders of Zeus. Let me complete. Let me finish my question.
yes, sir.
You
Sorry,
ordered,
sir.
sorry, you obeyed the orders of Zeus for marrying Epimetheus, and you did not reject those orders. But the only order that you were asked to follow religiously, which was to not open that jar. First of all, it was not a box; it was a jar. You were asked to not open that jar, and still not acting in, not acting wisely. You still opened it. And now, see, after committing all these atrocities, basically you are almost responsible for all the atrocities that are taking place right now or have taken place historically throughout the period of time since when it existed. So now you're playing victim. Can you justify this
No,
stance?
I
No, let me finish. Can you justify this
yes,
stance
sir.
that you were self-centered? You accepted certain gifts, you obeyed certain orders, and you particularly disobeyed the one order that you were asked not to disobey. So isn't this, see, obviously you had free will back then.
So first of all, in my defense, I would like to say, I did not have the option to accept certain gifts and reject the others. They were bestowed upon me by the gods who created me. It was not in my hand to reject those. So all the gifts, including beauty, grace, wit, and curiosity, I had to accept them all.
And marrying
And
Epimetheus, marrying
uh,
Epimetheus.
as for marrying Epimetheus, I fell in love with him. And as you know, love is blind. So, yeah. And as
So
for obeying
accordingly,
certain
everything
orders,
you
and
tried.
And
This is
no,
good.
sir. I would like to say about the box that one more question that you asked, that I disobeyed the order of, opening the box, not opening the box. Uh, I would like to say uh, that uh, the full story is that that box kept calling me. I felt that something inside. No, there
My
was
question
something
is not
inside the box
my
that
question is
was.
not questioning you for opening the box. I'm saying you selectively picked and chose those orders that you wanted to open, and you disregarded those orders which you didn't want to open. So you acting on free will. This has nothing to do with gods. This has nothing to do with Zeus. Acting on free will.
No, sir.
If you are marrying Epimetheus, listen. If you are marrying Epimetheus, you are saying that you fell in love and all those things. But then, when you are being told or asked or being held accountable for opening that particular jar, you are saying, no, it was actually Zeus who made me open that jar. No, it was actually the gods. No, it was actually all a ploy. Is this not hypocritical?
So it. I would like to say that I was placed in a. See, Zeus designed the box. He placed miseries inside it, and he placed hope too. Okay. He created me, Pandora, a human, a woman. So he placed the most significant trait in play in this whole scenario is curiosity. And I was made curious. I was there was a thirst for knowledge, for exploration, and a desire to discover in me. I was placed in a situation designed for failure, manipulated by the god who was far more powerful than I. I am a human. I just now, when you asked me about the five qualities, I told you one was making mistake. So it was my mistake to open the box, and along with that, and in order to justify that mistake, I would like to say that it was in my nature. It was something that was swim in curiosity, was something that was swim into my soul.
Tell
I
me simply, do you hold up yourself accountable for opening the box, or do you believe it was Zeus's ploy to make you open that box?
it
Because right
I
now you are
I
saying that
believe that
you
it
are
was
allowed to make
Zeus's ploy.
mistakes. So why are you then saying that you're allowed to make mistakes if it all was a ploy? Then why are you having this guilt and shame? This is not see.
Sir,
Either you
I
can
told you, if I was used as a scapegoat. I was used as a piece who was used and then discarded, and whole blame was shifted on me. So, as a human, I told you that I am a human, and humans are bound to feel guilty even if if they did something terrible, even though it was not completely their fault. The humans are bound to feel guilty.
yeah. ठीक है. So, second year if you have any questions. Just
Okay,
one
before
quotation, Pandora, curiosity killed the cat, but in your case, you might just have killed the whole world.
So, you were not audible.
okay,
Nothing
there's
much.
a
You were just good enough.
okay. So before wrapping this all up, there's one last question which was left. The hope which you have been glorifying in this whole speech with such pomp and show.
Yes, sir.
The hope isn't hope the false expectations to the cause of miseries in this world.
No, sir, I do not believe that. I believe that hope is something that gives meaning to the endurance. It gives gives us strength to go through some things to make us strong. And if we did not have hope and trials that that help us build resilience, we would never have known other virtues like kindness, compassion, and joy.
Okay, nice motivational speech is what it was. So over to anyone else or else Steve.
Yes, sir, if you have any questions, carry on, guys.
Thank you very much, Fariha, for defending Pandora. Now,
Thank you,
next,
ma'am.
all right, before moving on to the next participant, Mansi, are you ready with your speech or should we move forward? All right, no reply, so I take it as a green signal to move forward. Avni Sharma, Food Technology. Avni Sharma will be defending Dr. Jawaharlal Nehru, and the speech will be delivered in English. Avni Sharma, are you present?
I guess she's trying to fix her mind. Video.
All right, then I'll move on to the next one.
No, Avni Sharma is not audible. Maybe she's having some issues out there. Yeah, I guess she's trying to speak, but some technical difficulties she's unable to. Avni, please try and rejoin in case it is not working. And if you are
Avni,
able
kindly
to
leave
hear us.
the Discord session and rejoin.
Yes, she has left.
So till then, let us move forward with the next participant, Arushi Singh from First BTech Information Technology. Arushi Singh is defending Lady Macbeth from The Merchant of Venice. She will be delivering her speech in English. Arushi Singh, please speak in your defense.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, respected ma'ams and
All
respected
right,
sirs.
just a minute. I stand corrected. Just a minute. Just a minute. Lady Macbeth is playing Lady Macbeth from Macbeth. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Please move on. Please, Arushi. Sorry for that.
Good evening, respected ma'ams and respected sirs. My name is Arushi Singh. I'm from First BTech Information Technology. Today I stand to defend Lady Macbeth. Often I'm painted as a ruthless villain, a manipulator, and a murderer. But I urge you to see the complexities behind my actions. My husband Macbeth is a good man, but weak. My drive was fueled by the love for my husband. When I learned about the witch's prophecy, I recognized a chance for us to rise to greatness and to seize the power. I saw an opportunity not just for Macbeth, but also for myself. In a world where women's voices were silenced and power denied, I refused to stay silent. I refused to be ignored. I took control, and using my intellect, I shaped Macbeth's destiny. I did what needed to be done. I pushed Macbeth to take the throne, ensure our future and Scotland's prosperity. I believed I was helping Macbeth overcome his doubts. I believed Macbeth would bring change. The king's reign was stagnant and corrupt. Perhaps I went too far. Perhaps my ambitions consumed me. My own descent into madness reveals the heavy burden of guilt and the weight of my choices. I acknowledge the psychological trolls of my actions. The very ambition that fueled me became my tormentor. In conclusion, I'm not simply a villain. I'm a tragic figure shaped by my time, my love, and my aspirations. Do not reduce me to a single act. See me as a whole, a wife, a leader, and a partner. Thank you.
So, Lady Macbeth, you called your husband weak, and it was you who left everything by seeing some illusions or some dreams of your hand stained in blood. And it was you who committed suicide, leaving your husband in the middle of chaos. Isn't it a weak act?
Sir, in the starting, when I was with my husband, I saw it was my ambition to be with my husband, and I saw I wanted him to pursue in life. But later, when I saw him recent,
Okay, so you don't want to answer. Okay,
no,
so
sir.
another question.
I have
Okay,
another question.
Meenakshi.
Okay,
Lady
so my
Macbeth,
question is that don't you feel that your actions of killing someone were just because you were too selfish and always wanted your husband to be on power rather than some other person?
No, sir. I was loving my husband and I wanted him to succeed in life. It was his ambition, which later became my ambition.
Lady Macbeth, I would like to stop you right there and ask you, according to me, all your actions were fueled by greed. And right now, you just said that all those ambitions were your husband's. But from what I inferred, I think Macbeth was hesitant on his part. It was you who urged him, you who fueled him, you who repeatedly, even when Macbeth did not want to kill the king who Macbeth really looked up to, you urged him to kill him. You played a very huge part in everything that happened, and then at the end, after everything you did, it was your greed, first of all, your ambitions. Macbeth wasn't even that greedy as compared to you. And after everything was done, you couldn't deal with it. And when you couldn't deal with it, you just gave up, left all those consequences for your husband to deal with. You just wiped your hands, you went crazy, you saw hallucinations, and you just committed suicide. You left your husband for to deal with the consequences, to go along with the destiny that was created for him by the actions that you chose. You pushed him into his doom, basically. How do you justify that? Pushing your husband to his doom because of your greed. How do you justify that?
Ma'am, it was not my greed. It was my love for my husband, and as the time passed, I saw him. He was very desperate. He wanted to be the king because he was the first person who heard the witch's prophecy. So when he told me about that, I was really very happy because even I wanted the power with him. I also wanted him to succeed, and along with him, I wanted to succeed. So when the king approached at our palace, Macbeth stepped back. He was hesitating. It was his weakness, his cowardness. I did not want him to back off. I wanted him to succeed and become the king. I wanted Scotland to have a better king. But at the end, it was like he stopped telling me things. He was, at first, I instigated him to kill the king. But later, it was the persons he killed. He killed Banquo and his family and the rest others. It was all his decision. It was his sole decision. He did not ask me once.
But your love for your husband just destroyed him, just killed him. Congratulations. I did not know that love could lead to that path. What do you think? Any comments?
No, ma'am. It was my love, but I did not want. I wanted him to be
You,
king. I
you
did not
keep
wanted him to
claiming.
keep killing people.
All right, good. But you keep claiming it was your love, that you cared about him, that you loved him, that's why you did him, that's why you urged him to do things that you knew would lead to his downfall, that you knew, if anything, first of all, that was from a witch. You knew that the risk you were taking would lead somewhere not very good. The love for your husband just led to his downfall, and you knew that, and still you took that risk, and you keep disguising that by saying that it was love for your husband. But I do not see love there. Like, just just think back, retrospect, do you think that was love?
Ma'am, it was love and ambition. I'm not backing off that I did not love him, but
All right, I've got my answer. Good. Now I would like other jurors to ask.
Achal, see, I don't have any questions, but I may have misheard something. My ears were ringing, but did you just say Meenakshi something along the lines of did him? because I listened that you said didn't. So about that, and also, Arushi, see, although I have not read Macbeth, but a lady who is being tried, uh, I guess this is a good embodiment. So I cannot actually question because I have not read, but something that something valuable that I could have said as input. Yes, yes. India, please.
Yes, no questions. Anyone from second year? Okay, all right. So you can leave the meeting.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you
Thank you,
very
sir.
much, Arushi.
To me, it appears that she
Up
just needed
next,
a
we
good
have
divorce lawyer. Yes, yes, Tulika, please.
up next we have Avni Sharma. Avni Sharma, are you present?
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Please turn on your camera. Avni Sharma will be defending Dr. Jawaharlal Nehru. Her speech will be delivered in English, and Avni, you have the floor open. Please start in your defense.
Am I invisible?
Not to me. Uh,
Not to me.
Please confirm because there is some. Okay. Avni, yes, you are. You are. Please.
Good
Thank
evening,
you.
respected ma'am and respected sir. Today, I am here to defend the decision taken by Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru in 1947 to refer the Kashmir issue to the United Nations rather than taking military action. As the first Prime Minister of independent India, I, Jawaharlal Nehru, stand before you today to defend my decision to take the Kashmir issue to the United Nations in 1947. I firmly believe in the principle of democracy, justice, and international cooperation. I made the choice to follow the path of diplomacy and peace rather than mili- immediate military action. In 1947, India has just emerged from a colonial rule for a long time non-violence struggle. As a new democracy, it was essential for us to demonstrate that we, we would resolve the dispute through peaceful means rather than taking violence. By involving United Nations, it allows us to bring the issue to the global platform where a balanced and fair solution could be achieved. By taking this issue to the United Nations, I seek to prevent large scale conflict and bloodshed in Kashmir. Military action could have led to devastating consequences for the both people of India and Kashmir. As the leader, I had to think about the long term well being of our people. By involving the United Nations, India has set the right example for the world, showing that India is a peaceful nation that upholds democratic value and respect global institute. I made this decision with the belief that true leader lies in seeking peace, not conflicts. Thank you, sir. Ma'am.
So, Mr. Nehru, India's military had the upper hand in the 1940 at the time you mentioned. India's military had the upper hand at that time. Yet by going to the United Nations, you subjected Kashmir to international arbitration, which sort of allowed Pakistan to continue claims to that region. So do you acknowledge that this decision has contributed to the ongoing strife and violence in Kashmir? Was this choice a diplomatic failure, considering the long-term impact it had on the Indo-Pak relations?
As taking the issue to the United Nations, it helps to take a peaceful decision. By taking military action, it would lead to uh, loss of lives of civilians and as well as armies. So somehow it has.
But taking military actions then would have sorted off these Indo-Pak relations there at that time itself. But now, since we chose the path of peace, we went to United Nations. So there has been an ongoing conflict between India and Pakistan for 75 years, and there has been some sort of violence, some sort of border conflicts, the cross-border terrorism between India and Pakistan. The territory of Kashmir has been violated many times. So that ongoing conflict is from 76 years. So don't you think that military action at that time would have ended it at that time itself instead of going for peace?
As I mentioned in my speech, that in 1947, the India has just emerged from an colonial rule. So India was not capable of uh, of taking any military action. So it would lead to loss of our lives as well as the Kashmir.
But the same goes for Pakistan too, na? That the Pakistan also got independence in 1947, or rather it was formed in 1947. It was the same case for Pakistan too. So how can we say that our military, an already established nation's military is won't be able to counter a nation which is formed just yet?
As I believe in the democracy, so we we give the right we we give the
Only if you do not
opportunity to
have a
the
proper answer.
people of the Kashmir to
Yes, only if you
decide.
don't have proper answer, then you can easily say that, sorry, I don't know the answer to this question, or I cannot answer. Rather than attempting anything, because it would be more professional if you are embodying a professional, or the prime minister of a country if you are at all embodying. So, feel that you do
Okay,
not in
so
all the
yes.
questions, but if any particular question you do not have the answer, then better than going on randomly.
Well, Mr. Nehru, I have only two questions with you. My first question is that since Pakistan was the one who invaded the Pakistan occupied Kashmir region, that was Pakistan was the aggressor. Then why didn't we respond with some military action and we went to United Nations, and we are when we are going to United Nations, we are clearly stating that POK is an issue of conflict or is an issue which needs to be resolved. But Pakistan was the aggressor there. Then why did we retaliate them? Why did we retaliate with some military action?
Sorry.
Okay, no issues. My second question is that in various articles it is clearly stated that it was not you, it was Mountbatten, a very close friend of yours, who was responsible for giving you inputs regarding taking the matter to United Nations. What is your stand on the same?
Sorry, sir.
Okay, no issues. Any other juror, please?
Any further
One thing on
questions
the
on the
guys,
floor?
second year, who was her mentor? Who mentored her? If someone at all did. Second year, jurors specifically. Anyways, you
I'm
can
not
DM
able
me
to
the answer.
listen.
You can.
Avni,
No,
you
not
tell them
sorry.
who's your
Yeah.
mentor.
Sir, Aryan was the mentor of her. Maybe.
Aryan was the mentor. So, ठीक है. Yes, sir. Anyways.
Sir, are you saying something?
नहीं मैं बस पूछ रहा था कि mentor कौन था. So, am I audible properly or not?
Sir, you are not audibly properly, I feel.
Yeah, the problem is that your voice is, unexpectedly quite low. I can hear basically everyone, the second year team or the participants. Your voice, I don't know whether you're quite away from your mic or something, uncannily low.
So, the issue I guess is that I have purchased these new earphones.
Yeah, maybe.
Just fix this.
So,
All right. So, since there are no further questions, we will move forward with the next participant. Thank you very much, Avni.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next, we have Ballab Agarwal from Computer Science and Engineering. Ballab will be playing Shylock from Merchant of Venice, and the delivery of the speech will be in English. You are visible, and
Honorable Court, I stand accused of plotting a murderous bond against Antonio.
Excuse me, Vallabh, please stop. I will request you to hold the mic towards your face so that we can hear your voice properly.
Okay, sir. Honorable Court, I stand accused of plotting a murderous bond against Antonio. But before you judge me, I want you to but before you judge me, I want you to consider the words of the play itself and the circumstances that led to this point. I am Shylock, a Jew, and for so long I have faced the mockery, the scorn, the contempt of the filthy man Antonio. He has disgraced me. He has spat on me. He has kicked me. He has laughed on my losses, mocked on my gains. He has scolded my friends and warmed my enemies. Just because I'm simply a Jew? In our outbustings marketplace, the fortunes are made and lost. I have chosen as essential profession in which the matter is of the matter is of marginalized. While the Christians are forbidden of taking interest, I have to face this. I have to face the discrimination of the society because I am a Jew. The bond between Antonio and me is not born of a malice, but it's a necessity for me, as I have to survive in the world where all of us turned against me. Let us speak of contract and agreement. In this era, the contract is of sacred promise. When Antonio and I entered into this contract, we are both aware of the terms very well. In front of law of Venice, our agreement hold the sanity. The pound of flesh is not just an act of revenge, but it is an act of return. The way by which my investment can be upheld, and in the world where the trust is just a fleetly luxury. You call me a villain, but what is villain to you? Had not Jews eyes? Had not Jews hands? Had not Jews organs, affection, dimensions? I ask you, if a Jew wrongs a Christian, if a Christian wrongs a Jew, if a Jew wrongs a Christian, what is suffering? Revenge. If a Christian wrongs a Jew, What is sufferance in the Christian example? Why? Revenge. The villainy you teach me, I shall hit her, and I will better the instructions. I ask you, is your justice is different from mine? Or it's only just because I am a Jew, I am denied to justice. I stand before the court, whether the law will be honored or just it's merely a tool to suppress a man over another. I stand not for cruelty, but for justice. So that's all.
So, Mr. Shylock, who stands for justice and not for cruelty, as far as a rational human being would think, uh, the revenge of being spat upon or being disgraced is disgracing someone else. Rational logic is that if you are being spat upon, you would spit on the other person. Why would you plot to kill somebody? Why would you demand a pound of flesh from the very part where it is sure that he would die?
First of all, he has insulted me at various places where the majority audience is Christian. I have to be suppressed because of the way he lives. He gives money out of without having taken any interest. I have to survive in this world. If I spat against him, it will show an act of demeaning myself. But when I have gotten a chance to resemble my culture, my nation, and all that he has done in my past, I shall take revenge. And we have both entered in, and I have stand by side of law. We have both entered this by knowing all the terms. His egoistic behavior denies him for the current situations.
So, do you accept this bond was religiously motivated? And as far as you are talking about the law, it was proved in the court of law that you were proved to be plotting to murder a fellow Venetian. What do you have to say in it?
No, my bond was not based on religion. Yes, it's a part, the religion plays a part of it, but it's mostly the action he performed on me in my past. The way he kicked me in Rialto, the way he's laughed at my losses, mocked at my gains, the bond was a result of that. And as a fact of uh, the bond was by the law or not, when the bond was formed, it was with law, and I can't say about the judgment. I don't feel the judgment was right enough.
So even after not being religiously motivated, you accept that the revenge to a simple insult, an insult in front of a few people, few fellow merchants who are used to joking and laughing together, is that you would plot to kill another merchant.
It's not just upon insult. He he demeaned my way of business because no one will lend money from me because he lent money for no interest. My business was going down, so that when I got a chance of revenge, I will surely take it. And as it said, it was under the law of Venice, and his egoistic behavior helped me.
So first you denied being religiously motivated. Secondly, you denied it wasn't a response to an insult. Thirdly, you are saying that you aren't pleased with somebody's way of business, so would plot to kill him. I guess you'll deny this too. So go on.
I'm not denying it, but it's a matter of living. He is kicking me in the stomach. He is plotting against my daughter. His fellow men are plotting against my daughter. In all way, he has insulted me and is leaving me with no chance to take a revenge when I have gotten it. So I don't think uh, it is a I have that nothing wrong.
Okay, so over to others or to sir.
Okay, so Mr. Shylock, in your famous speech, you argue that Jews are no different from Christians. They feel the same pain, they seek same revenge, they are also the humans. Yet in seeking, Antonio's life, are you not perpetuating the very cruelty, the injustice you claim to be a victim of? How do you, reconcile your call for equality with your desire to inflict harm that surpasses the bounds of, morality?
When 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 Antonio disrespected me when Antonio disrespected me in front of everyone, where are these morality gone? When his fellow men plotted against my daughter, where is my morality gone? He's he has not left any chance to disrespect me or demeaned me in the past. Even at the time of lending money, his egoistic behavior has trapped his own life. So I don't think that uh, any moral compass should any moral compass should. I don't think that's my answer.
So
So
currently, you said, that
insulting somebody's
Away
religion
these.
is wrong according to your moral compass, and plotting a murder is right according to your moral compass.
I don't think it's a plot. It's a plot of murder. My intentions is not a plot of murder. Firstly,
Okay.
but surely it's the pound of flesh act as a punishment for all the doing he is done in my past, and it's been agreed by both. So I don't think a victim will agree his own plot of murder. So I will not consider it as a plot of murder.
Okay, you contradicted yourself thrice. Thanks.
Okay, so Mr. Shylock, last question of mine. Recently, you said that Antonio's men and against your daughter. So, when your daughter Jessica elopes with Lorenzo, you expressed more concern over the loss of your money than the loss of your daughter. Do you acknowledge that this fixation on wealth has distorted, your ability to form and maintain meaningful relationships? Does this focus on money, had revenge blind you the love and relationship that should matter more?
Sorry, sir, I have not answered. I can't answer that.
Over to the jurors.
Okay, over to sirs, or we wrap this session up. No, sir, you're not.
I'm not all. Guys, please carry on. I am just fixing my microphone. I'm having some audio related trouble here, so let me fix it. You can carry on. I'll be listening to everything, just not I cannot speak.
Sir, it is not audible.
Thank you very much, Balla. Since there are no more questions, we'll move on to the next participant.
Thank you,
Mansi
respected
Jain,
sir.
are you present in the meet?
Ma'am, I'm there.
Mansi, all right.
Yes, ma'am, I'm there.
Please switch on your camera.
Ma'am, am I
Mansi
audible clearly
Jain,
now?
yes, you are audible.
Ma'am, am I
Yes, you
audible
are.
clearly? Okay, thank you. Good evening to all my respected ma'ams and respected sirs. This side, Mansi Jain, first BTech Information Technology. And here I am to defend Mohammed bin Tughlaq. मैं मोहम्मद बिन तुगलक, जिसको इस पूरी दुनिया ने एक पागल बादशाह करार कर दिया है, आज अपने ऊपर लगे सारे इल्जामों पर सफाई देने आया हूँ। मुझ पर इल्जामात है कि मैंने अपनी हुकूमत को दिल्ली से दौलताबाद मुंतकिल करने का हुक्म दिया, कि मैंने नए सिक्के लाने का कदम उठाया। नौज बिल्ला, सुन्ना नौज बिल्ला, मैं तो ऐसा कभी सोच भी नहीं सकता। उस पर इल्जाम के तीर छोड़ने वाले लोग ये नहीं जानते कि मुझे अपनी आवाम इतनी अजीज है कि मेरा मन करता है कि मैं किसी ऊंचे तख्त पर चढ़ जाऊं और उन्हें आवाज दूं कि उठो, उठो, मैं तुम्हें बुला रहा हूँ। आज अपनी तमाम परेशानियां मुझे बता दो, मैं अपनी तमाम ख्वाहिशें तुम्हें सुना दूं। या खुदा, मेरे इतने सारे मंसूबे एक ही दौर में पूरे हो जाएं। खुदा की अजमत, रियाया की भलाई का एक ख्वाब पूरा हो जाए। रियाया की भलाई का एक ख्वाब पूरा हो जाए। दौलताबाद वह मरकज था जहां से पूरे मुल्क पर नजर रखना और अपनी हुकूमत पर गिरफ्त कायम रखना आसान था। दौलताबाद एक महफूज मुकाम था जहां मंगोल हमलों का भी खतरा कम था। मैंने तांबों के सिक्के का फैसला लिया तो मैंने सोचा कि हमारी दौलत कम है, हमारी दौलत में तंगी है। अगर हम तांबे के सिक्के का इस्तेमाल करें तो हमारी राज तिजोरी को सहूलियत मिलेगी। मैंने चीन जैसे मुल्कों से सीखा कागजी अमला तरीका अच्छे तरीके से कामयाब हो चुका था। हालांकि उस वक्त काफी मुश्किलात पेश आई, पर मेरे इरादे हमेशा नेक थे। आखिर में मैं कहना चाहता हूँ कि मैं वो सुल्तान था जो वक्त से आगे चला। सोचा नई राह पर चलूं, हर मंजिल को पा लूं, पर नफरत ने मेरे फैसलों को ना समझा। कभी लोगों ने तुगलक कहकर मेरा नाम मिटा दिया। हाँ, कुछ फैसले मेरे गलत से थे, पर मेरा मकसद था इंसाफ, ये दिल से थे। मैंने सोचा था बदलूंगा अपने मुल्क का नसीब, पर तकदीर ने मेरे ख्वाबों को यूं खाक कर दिया कि वक्त की तेजी को न थाम सका मैं। लोगों की नफरत ने मुझे तुगलक बना दिया। लेकिन फिर भी मैं ये मानता हूँ कि सही वक्त आने पर लोग मेरे फैसलों की अहमियत जरूर समझेंगे। क्या हाफिज।
तो गुस्ताखी माफ जहाँ आपसे मेरे 2 सवाल हैं, लेकिन उससे पहले आप कह रहे हैं आपको सबने तुगलक बना दिया, पर आपको हम लोग पागल बादशाह के नाम से जानते हैं। और मेरा पहला सवाल आपसे ये है कि अगर आपको अपनी रियाया से इतनी ही मोहब्बत है, तो आप पहली बात आपने दिल्ली से दौलताबाद, जिसे पहले देवगिरी कहते थे, वहाँ आपने अपनी राजधानी स्थित करने का फैसला लिया। वहाँ दिल्ली से दौलताबाद जाने में इतनी जानों का नुकसान हुआ और फिर वापस भी आने में उतनी ही जानों का नुकसान हुआ। ये कहाँ से आपकी अपनी रियाया से मोहब्बत को दिखाता है? और मेरा दूसरा सवाल आपसे ये है कि अगर आपको फिर से अपनी रियाया से इतनी मोहब्बत है, तो जब गंगा और यमुना के बीच के दोआब के क्षेत्र में आपने लगान को दुगना किया, तो क्या आपको अपनी प्रजा के बारे में इतना भी नहीं पता था कि वहां सूखा पड़ा है और वो लगान दे नहीं पाएंगे?
जनाब, ये तो इंसानी फितरत है कि लोग गलतियों को जरूर देखते हैं और उसके पीछे की सारी अच्छाइयों को भूल जाते हैं। खैर, मैं आपके सवालों का जवाब देता हूँ। आपका पहला सवाल था कि दिल्ली से दौलताबाद में जो जाने गई, मैं उनके बारे में बता। मुझे अपनी आवाम बहुत अजीज है, ऐसा मैंने कहा। हाँ, मैं जानता हूँ कि बहुत जाने गई, पर जनाब आप ये भी तो समझें, अगर मेरा लिया हुआ फैसला सच हो जाता तो कैसे हमारे सारे मजहब मिल जाते। दौलताबाद, जिसको आपने देवगिरी का नाम बताया पहले, वो हिंदू आबादी का देश था। मेरी दिल्ली सल्तनत एक मुस्लिम मुस्लिम आबादी ज्यादा थी। तो अगर ये दोनों मुस्लिम और हिंदू मिल जाते तो हमारे मजहब एक हो जाते, पूरे दक्षिण हिंदुस्तान पर हमारा राज होता। आपका दूसरा सवाल था, अ, आप एक बार अपना दूसरा सवाल फिर से पूछेंगे क्या?
जी हाँ, जो आपको अपनी रियाया से इतनी मोहब्बत थी, तो क्या आपको इतना नहीं पता था कि गंगा और यमुना के बीच के दोआब के क्षेत्र में सूखा पड़ा है जब आपने लोग लगान दुगने की है? क्या आप इतने मोहब्बत करने वाले राजा को इतना नहीं पता था, इतने मोहब्बत करने वाले बादशाह को इतना नहीं पता था कि उसके क्षेत्र में सूखा पड़ा है और उनसे ही 2 गुना लगान मांगा?
जी, किसी पन्नों को जिसको लिखता था और मानता था कि ये होगी मेरी जीत, असलियत में वही निकली मेरी शिकस्त। मैंने जो भी महसूल लगाए थे, मैंने उनको अपनी गलती को सुधारा और बाद में उन्हें हटाया। अपने किसान भाइयों के लिए मैंने दीवाने दीवाने कोही को चालू किया, जिससे उनकी बंजर जमीन एक उपजाऊ जमीन में बदल सकती है। मैंने हर तरीके से उनकी मदद करने का पूरा पूरा प्रयास किया है।
तुगलक जी, मेरा आपसे एक ही प्रश्न है। आपने रूहान जी के सारे प्रश्नों का जवाब देते हुए एक बात बहुत बार दोहराई कि आपको अपनी जनता से बहुत मोहब्बत थी, आपको अपनी जनता के प्रति बहुत लगाव था। मैं आपसे एक ही चीज पूछना चाहता हूँ कि आपको अपनी जनता के प्रति लगाव था कि अपनी मुस्लिम जनता के प्रति लगाव था? क्योंकि अगर पूरी जनता के प्रति लगाव होता तो आप हिंदू के खिलाफ जो आपने टैक्सेस लगाए हैं एडिशनल, वो ना लगाते। तो अगर इस पे आप कुछ चर्चा करें तो मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगे।
जी, जरूर। आपका ये कहना कि मुझे अपने हिंदू जनता से लगाव था, यह तो इतना गलत है कि मैं क्या ही बताऊं। मैं पहले तुगलक शासक था जिसने सारे मजहबों को एक साथ लेके काम किया। मैंने जो गलती करी थी उसको सुधारी और सारे महसूल को भी हटाया। मैं चाहता था कि सब एकजुट होकर रहें। अगर मेरी ऐसी कोई भी नियत होती तो मैं दौलताबाद, जहाँ हिंदू हिंदू आबादी ज्यादा थी, वहां वहां अपनी हुकूमत लाने का सोचता ही क्यों। मैं चाहता था कि सब संग में आगे बढ़े। मैं जन्नत नसीब जन्नत नसीब होने के बाद ये देख रहा हूँ कि आजकल के ऐसे मुल्क अपने धर्म के नाम पर एक दूसरे को पीट रहे हैं। मैं पहले से ही ये जानता था कि ऐसा होगा, इसलिए मैं हर वक्त अपने हर मजहब को एक साथ लेके चलना चाहता।
Any other jurors, please?
बादशाह तुगलक, आपने अभी ऐसा कहा कि आपको अपनी जनता से बहुत लगाव था। तो मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूंगा कि आपने जिस तरह से अपनी राजधानी को दिल्ली से दौलताबाद स्थानांतरित किया, उससे जनता को भारी तकलीफ हुई। आपको नहीं लगता कि इतनी दूर की यात्रा का आदेश देकर आपने जनता के प्रति काफी असंवेदनशीलता दिखाई है? क्या आपको नहीं लगता कि आपका राज्य आवश्यक संकट में डाल दिया गया? क्या यह फैसला आपकी महत्वाकांक्षाओं का नतीजा था, या आपने इसकी योजना बिना किसी व्यवहारिक सोच के ही बना दी थी?
मेरा ये फैसला भले ही असफल रहा, पर मेरा इरादा केवल अपनी जनता की भलाई था। मैं जानता हूँ कि मेरी आवाम को उससे बहुत दिक्कतें आई। उसको सुधारने के लिए मैं दिल्ली से दौलताबाद वापस गया। जब मैंने देखा कि वहाँ की रिवायत और पालन में मेरी जनता घुल मिल नहीं पा रही है, तो फिर मैंने अपनी गलती को सुधारा और मैं दिल्ली से दौलताबाद वापस गया।
लेकिन आपकी हुकूमत में इस प्रकार की गलतियां कई बार देखी गई हैं, चाहे वो मुद्रा का वो नई मुद्राओं को अपनाना हो, या फिर वो राजधानी को स्थानांतरित करना हो, या फिर बेवजह का कर लगाना हो। तो इस तरह की अगर आप नीतियां लगातार अपनाते रहे, और क्या आपको लगता है कि अगर आपने अधिक स्थिर और समझदार नीतियां अपनाई होती तो राज्य में शांति और समृद्धि अधिक संभव थी, और आपको एक पागल बादशाह के रूप में ना देखा जा रहा होता? क्या आप मानते हैं कि आपकी असफल असफल नीतियां ही आपके शासन की सबसे बड़ी कमजोरी थी?
हुजूर, मेरी नीतियां भले ही असफल रही, पर अगर आप आज के समय में देखें तो नीतियां वही चल रही हैं। आज के समय में कागजी अमला नहीं चल रही क्या हुजूर? जो मैंने फैसला इतने साल पहले लिया था वो अब चल रहा है। तो मैं अपने आप के फैसलों पर फख्र करता हूँ।
Over to the next jurors, or sir, please.
जहां पना तुगलक से मेरा एक प्रश्न है। जहां पना आपने कहा कि आपने उस समय जो फैसले लिए थे वो आज भी प्रासंगिक है, तो इसी सोच से आज की सोच आपके समय के लिए प्रासंगिक होनी चाहिए। आप जैसे क्रूर तानाशाहों को अक्सर गद्दी से हटाकर उनका सर धड़ से अलग करने का प्रावधान है, और ये काम दुनिया के अलग अलग मुल्कों में सिर्फ एक छोटी सी गलती के लिए किया गया है। आपका मुद्रा के साथ की गई खिलवाड़ हो, या अपने प्रजा पर एक राजधानी से दूसरी राजधानी जबरदस्ती ले जाने का जुर्म हो, तो क्या आपको लगता है कि चूंकि आपके तब के फैसले आज के परिप्रेक्ष्य में बहुत अच्छे थे, तो क्या आज के परिप्रेक्ष्य की सोच के लिए आपको अपनी इन दो या दोआब में अपना कर बढ़ाने की तीसरी गलती या धर्म के नाम पर अपनी प्रजा के साथ भेदभाव करने की चौथी गलती के लिए आपको भी मौत के घाट उतार देना चाहिए कि नहीं?
अपनी अपनी राजधानी को बदलना मैं कोई जुर्म नहीं समझता। हाँ, उसमें मेरे आवाम को बहुत दिक्कत आई, पर अगर वो फैसला सही रहता तो ये उन सब के लिए बहुत, मेरी आवाम के लिए बहुत अच्छा होता। कर बढ़ाना मेरी एक गलती थी जिसको मैंने बाद में सुधारा और अपने किसानों के लिए बहुत काम किया। जो जो मेरी नीतियां थी, कागजी अमला की नीति, उसमें कोई भी गलती नहीं थी। कागजी अमला बहुत जरूरी था। उस वक्त चांदी की कमी थी, तो कागजी अमला ही एकमात्र उपाय था।
Okay, move on, boys.
I guess if nobody is left, Mansi, you can leave the meeting now.
Up next, we have Rudra Singh from Information Technology. Rudra Singh, are you present?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good evening.
Rudra Singh, let
Yes,
me
ma'am.
introduce. Rudra Singh will be presenting Oppenheimer. You have the floor for yourself, please.
Good evening, jurors. Today, I, Julius Robert Oppenheimer, stand before you, not as a human overwhelmed by remorse, but as one tasked with defending the most difficult and consequential decision humanity has ever made: the development and use of atomic bomb. My role, along with that of my colleagues in the Manhattan Project, was to create the weapon that ultimately brought an end to World War II. I ask you to consider this not as an act of senseless destruction, but as an act of duty, one that was vital to securing the survival of millions and ensuring a lasting peace. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki have been a subject of great moral scrutiny, and I understand why. The devastation was immense, and the loss of life is something I and my colleagues would never forget. But I ask you to consider the alternative. Japan had shown through years of relentless combat that it would not surrender easily. Their refusal to surrender after the bombing of Hiroshima and the continued resolve of their military, even in the face of overwhelming odds, made it clear that this war could have stretched for more than a lot of years. The atomic bomb, as terrible it was, provided a swift and a decisive end to the conflict going on for several years. It forced Japan's leadership to confront the sheer magnitude of their situation, compelling them to surrender and bringing peace to world war. The bomb's power was not an expression of brutality. It was a tool that brought about the very peace we have been thriving for. The creation of atomic bomb was not a crime, it was an act of defense. It was a necessary response to a world at war. The tragedy of Hiroshima and Nagasaki is a solemn reminder of the weapon's terrible power, but it also stands as a testament to the fact that peace, real peace, can be achieved even through the darkest moments in human history. I request you to understand that the blame for global warfare does not rest on the shoulder of those of us who created this weapon. The true threat lies in those who used it irresponsibly. We must never forget the lessons we have learned and ensure that the future we build is one where the horrors of war are prevented, not repeated. Hence, I would like to conclude by saying that sometimes peace is hidden in this very noise of destruction. Else, mankind would have never stopped hurting their very own race. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Oppenheimer, it feels very strange that to defend your actions, you have to read a piece of text. Anyways, coming to the main question, Mr. Oppenheimer, I want to ask you a very simple thing. I feel you were very educated enough when you were working in Manhattan with some other educated peers of your age. And I
Yes.
feel you are very much aware of what the consequences will be of the atomic bomb on a particular region. Still, you were so
Yeah.
resilient in its formation. Why so?
You can ask this question sitting in a comfortable space, but at that time, the world was at war. There was total destruction in all the world, and there was no peace all around. It was a necessary evil, I must say.
So, when there was destruction in the world all around, you thought that I should cause more destruction instead of causing peace. How will you
Those
justify
times
this?
were not those times were not of diplomatic relations, even though it was tried. But the Nazi, the German, and the Japanese were resilient, and they were not ready to back off. So I think though no diplomatic ties were working at that time. And this,
Well, Mr.
after the
Oppenheimer, I
bombing,
am not sure. Other jurors, please.
Okay, so Mr. Oppenheimer, you famously quoted the Bhagavad Gita, saying, "I am become death, the destroyer of worlds," after the first successful, atomic bomb test. So did you fully grasp the ethical implications of this creation at the moment, or were you focused on the scientific achievement? How do you reconcile the pride in your scientific accomplishments with the overwhelming destruction it caused?
well, when the first bomb was exploded on Hiroshima, it was a kind of a thing that I really achieved something. I really built something. I was in such a heat of that moment that I said those words. But after the second bombing and after I saw the destruction it caused, that made me really feel really made me feel that remorse, and I'm really ashamed of what I said. I must say that was in the heat of moment that I said those words.
Okay, so some of the people argue that as a scientist, you should have anticipated the long-term consequences of a nuclear weapon, not just for warfare, but for global politics and human survival. Do you believe
Yes.
you failed to consider the far-reaching effects of your invention? Did you underestimate the geopolitical and the humanitarian impact of creating a destructive weapon?
Well, I must say that you are right in this, that there are far long impacts of that bomb, and still the realms of it could be seen in the world. But I think that at that time, it was not like that. Like, we were forced and we were focused to prepare a bomb, to prepare a technology so that we could defend ourselves. At that time, it was a situation either you could be nuked or you nuke someone. It was that situation, so we have to be prepared for self defense. I can conclude with an example. Like, if you are being chased by a tiger and you have a gun, you will surely shoot it and not think that either it is a moral implication or not.
But at the time you used the atomic bomb, the war was already going to end. The Germany had surrendered. The Allies had break contact with everything. Only Japan was left, and you dropped the bomb there. What was the reason?
See, you can totally you can totally implicate on me that I have done that, because after building the bomb, after doing all the research, it was all in the hands of the governments of the world. It was not in my hands, and neither I could have prevented it. The real power lied in the hands of government and all the geopolitics, you know.
Okay, so another jurors, please.
Okay, I have a question if no one else. Dr. Oppenheimer, yes, sir. In face of all your country did for you, from your scientific achievements to funding the research and the project which entered your name in the annals of history, how dare you be a communist and then be a traitor to your own nation? Well, I can't answer that because I don't have much information about it. Sorry. Okay, moving on. Others, please.
I guess it's over. So thank you. Thank you for defending. You can leave.
Thank you, sir.
Respected seniors and jury members, with this we come to the end for slot 3. Now we will be beginning with slot 4. The first participant is Amulya Pandey from Biotechnology. Amulya Pandey, are you present?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Please begin.
Good evening, respected ma'ams and respected sirs. Respected ma'am, Amulya Pandey, first BTech Biotechnology. Respected ma'ams and respected
I'm
sir.
sorry to interrupt. You have to turn your camera on.
Oh, sorry, sir. I totally forgot about it. I'm so sorry. Sir, am I visible?
Yes, you are visible and you are audible.
Okay, thank you, sir. So my topic is Sherlock, a fictional character from William Shakespeare novel, Merchant of Venice. I believe that the bond is a legally binding contract agreed by Antonio with clear terms. Antonio knew the risk of this bond, and in spite of knowing the risk, he agreed with the bond. The bond states that Sherlock will lend Antonio 3,000 ducats for a time span of 3 months, and if Antonio fails to pay that amount, Sherlock can have a pound of flesh close to Antonio's heart. The world works on give and take relationship, and if Antonio took 3,000 ducats from Sherlock, he will have to return the money either as a penalty or as the money amount within the time span. The bond made between Antonio and Sherlock was much of a business related. And in business, if you fail to pay the sum on time, you have to pay the penalty for it. Penalty can be anything. It is not restricted to money. And as a penalty, Sherlock demanded a pound of flesh from Antonio. And you all must have seen that if you fail in business, you all must have seen if you fail to pay the sum on time, pay the demanding penalty for it. And you all must have seen in the play as well. Antonio publicly criticized Sherlock. He spat on him, called him monkey and dog, made fun of his Jewish cultures, traditions, religions, and beliefs. He loaned money to people without interest, which sank down Sherlock's business. You can see here that it is not personal grudges related that he have against Antonio. It was business related, and it was he proposed that bond just to protect his financially boat to sail like before. Sherlock also believes that the court will do justice to him because the court always believes in facts and truth. And the truth is that Antonio signed the bond of paying the penalty of a pound of flesh from his body. Shylock can also claim how badly he was treated in Venice, since in Venice, Christians were dominating and powerful. There were multiple misdeeds happened in Venice against Jewish community. So we can see that Shylock also claims that the bond was the only way to assert his dignity and power in society, which constantly disrespects him. To conclude Shylock's arguments, I believe the conclusion is rooted in his demand for strict action since the justice must be served without any regard of feelings or mercy. In the end, he demands for strict justice as same rights he has as Jew in the Christian community which is present in Venice. That was my time. Thank you.
Okay, so Shylock, what according to you is the objective of business? I believe it is profit.
So, yes,
So
of
I believe it
course.
is profit. So
Yes, sir.
Bassanio offered you 3 times and 2 times the principal amount, but you refused to accept it. Why?
He refused because he wanted to.
If the had the objective really been profit, you would have accepted it.
I'm sorry, sir, I didn't get your question. Could you please repeat it for
I'm
me?
saying that had the objective of that business deal been profit, you would have accepted the 3,000, the triple the amount or double the amount that was offered by Bassanio, but you did
No,
not.
sir. No,
So
sir.
can you explain your actions?
Sir, I believe that if I've signed a bond with a person, I should stick to that, firstly, because I believe legally it is legally contracted, and if you have written it on a paper and you have signed for it, you should stick to that. I don't believe that price
So
money
so was
will.
it really a Yes, yes. Go ahead. Complete your
Sorry,
thing.
sir. So
Complete whatever you're saying.
I just don't believe that I should just change my words. I would like to stick to my words that if I've asked Antonio that I want a pound of flesh from his body, then I would. I have not written that in that paper that I want thrice the amount of money. I just want a penalty. I just want as a penalty a pound of flesh. If I've written that on a paper, then I want.
So what profit can you make out of that pound of flesh? If you're saying that, you are contradicting your own statement, because if you're saying that it was a business deal and the objective of business deal is to make profit, then what profit are you making out of that pound of flesh?
So I kind of got tricked into this, but
Okay, other
I
jurors,
think
please. Other jurors, please go ahead.
So, Shylock, I was listening to your speech very attentively. You once stated that Antonio called you a dog and a monkey. But I can show you evidences that in your whole interaction, all the interactions, Antonio has never called you a monkey. I can charge you of forging your statement as well.
Sir, as far as I've read Merchant of Venice in my high school, if I remember, I've read a part where he said maybe because I've read a part in that where it was stated that Antonio have criticized Sherlock multiple times.
Hmm. But there had to be exact word which substitutes to or is monkey. Anyways, so you plotted a murder against a person who merely insulted you. Do you accept it?
No, sir, I don't.
You did not plot the murder, but in the courtroom, you yourself accepted that you plotted the murder of Antonio.
Sir, I don't think I've plotted or murdered in any. I just, I just, I will just stick to my bond which I've proposed.
So you knew that taking a pound of flesh from the chest of a person will cause him to die. You knew, no?
So I knew, but Antonio should have cared about it as well because he also knew that a pound of flesh will come from his body. So why did he sign that bond? That's basic. That if clapping happens, it happens from both sides of the hand. Antonio could have rejected it. Why did he said yes to?
Good enough. Over to others.
Okay, so Mr. Shylock, throughout the play, you emphasize the importance of law. Yet, when Portia argues that the law does not entitle you a drop of Antonio's blood, you're left defenseless. Were you truly seeking justice, or were you simply using the law as a tool for your revenge? Was it not, hypocritical to demand strict adherence to the law only when it suited your purpose for revenge?
Actually, I missed out your sentence. Could you please repeat it from the last? I'm having some
Uh,
difficulty.
I,
I'm so
I
sorry.
I said, was it not hypocritical to demand strict adherence to the law only when it suited your revenge?
Sir, I don't think it suited my revenge in any sense. I believe that a person came to me and asked for a 3,000 ducat when he needed the most. He could have asked anyone else, why did he came to me? And he knew that he had some bad relations, then why did he? And if he came, he knew about the bond. So I believe or I don't think I brought any personal grudges into it. It's merely related to justice and bond.
No, it was not merely related to justice, because when his ships were on a voyage, you sent a person to regularly keep you informed whether the ships have reached the port or not. You were willing that Antonio's ship do not reach on time so that he cannot pay you on time, and you just get the bond successful and take a pound of flesh from close heart. So if that was not revenge, what was revenge? Because you in the speech have also mentioned that, and you hold a grudge against Antonio just because he lends money without interest. So if that is not revenge, what else is?
Sir, I think the revenge comes into personal harm, if you ask. But if I stick to that, I will just stick to my bond in the end. I would say that I don't personally believe that I have any personal grudges regarding Antonio. It was very related.
You said revenge is about personal harm, but you were harming Antonio personally by taking a pound of flesh.
Sir, in the end, I would just say that he knew that it was written in the bond. So why did he chose that? He could have asked money from any other person and then why did he came to? If he knew that if we have any
Because he had no
personal
other options left.
sorry, sir.
Because he had no other options left. Bassanio had no other options left. He had to leave to the pursuit of Portia the very
Yes,
next day.
right.
So he had no other
Hold up,
options left.
hold up. Kishli, just wait a minute. Sherlock, you just said why he came to you, right? Aren't
Yes.
you a businessman? Wasn't it your job to lend money to those who are in need? Wasn't that
Ma'am, it
basically
is.
your job?
Ma'am, it is. I believe it is. But Antonio too have some personal grudges related to me. So
So
I
just
don't think
because he has personal, just because you both have personal grudges, you don't want him to, you don't want to keep any business related relations between you as well. And if he's in need and he's coming to you solely for business purpose, you'll still hold a grudge and you'll still harm that particular person who is in need. Disregarding your business aspects. You instantly went for personal gains or personal harms, your personal gains. So you went for revenge. You instantly had malice in your mind when he came to you for business. It was your job to lend money. He came to you for on business grounds, and you had malice in mind. You instantly asked him for a pound of flesh if he does not return it and all, and you had it all planned out. How do you justify that? Why do you keep asking why he came to you? Isn't that your job?
I believe it is my job. I believe it is my job, but
To talk
I
about
don't.
discrimination, aren't you discriminating right now?
I'm a kind of
I,
stop.
I asked multiple questions. You can ask any of them. You can answer any of them. If you can't, then no issues. If you want to, you can.
I'm sorry. I've been stuck. I'm sorry.
All right, no issues. Let's move on.
Any further questions on the floor? No. All right. Thank you, Amulya, for defending Shylock. Up next, we have Mohan Gupta from Chemical Engineering. Mohan Gupta will
Thank
be
you, senior.
defending Oppenheimer, and the delivery will be in.
Yes, ma'am. Just a moment, ma'am. I hope I'm visible and audible.
Yes, you are
Yes,
audible.
you are
You are
visible and
visible.
audible.
Please.
Good morning. Good evening to all the seniors present here. Uh, I will proceed to defend myself, Julius Robert Oppenheimer, on my role in the creation of atomic bomb and the implications it had on modern warfare. I served as the director of the Manhattan Project, and I'm often regarded as the creator of atomic bomb, a device that harnesses the power of sun, capable of leveling entire cities and turning them into figments of dust. All of this often leads to many associating me as the man who gave mankind the tool for its own destruction. Humans, just like all animals, are susceptible to be tamed by the fear of a whip. Only the fact is that during the atrocities of World War II, the atomic bomb served as the whip. The clock was ticking. Prior to the death of Adolf Hitler, the Germans, who culminated under his leadership, a team of well-defined researchers led by Werner Heisenberg to accelerate their quest for creating the first ever atomic bomb. Think about it. Had the Germans succeeded in creating the atomic bomb, how many Jews would have perished? The Holocaust itself accounted for 33.7 million Jews being killed. Imagine how many more millions would have succumbed to their untimely demise had the Nazis created the atomic bomb. The people that perished due to the use of nerve gas like sarin by the Nazis were far more than those who died due to Little Boy and Fat Man. The war was raging. The attack on Pearl Harbor, it was a devastating attack on my nation. A retaliation was imminent, a retaliation that was final, a retaliation that would instill fear and would end the raging war. However, I knew the era of arsenals would change forever. The League of Nations, now transformed into UNO, will be establishing treaties and other measures to regulate the use of atomic bombs. Mankind is its own worst enemy. The wonders of science aren't meant just for destruction. It's as good as the intent of the man using them. Use it for a good cause, and you can warm up icy cold planets. Use it for revenge and war crimes. You can scorch your home world into a blazing ball of human atrocities. Thank you.
Mr. Oppenheimer, in
So,
your clarification speech, you mentioned at the last line that your retaliation or the retaliation from your country's side was fine. Can you justify that killing millions of people in a city consisting of some normal families and then infecting that city in such a way that the upcoming
Okay.
people are going to suffer is fine?
Yeah. I just want to clarify that the bombs that were detonated there didn't reach the surface. They exploded in the air. The land is contaminated, but not to such an extent. And let's not forget that the war was raging for such a duration and people were dying constantly. I think just ending the war like this saved a lot of people.
Gentlemen, actually, I feel very strange that you were actually at that point and you are saying today that the war was raging, the war was about to end. Germany was about to surrender, it was only Japan which was left. And you are giving me scientific terms regarding the bomb which was detonated, didn't touch the ground, it blasted in the air. Let me clarify one thing, and I really want to ask you one thing. While you were in Manhattan and while you were with your peers working on that project, were you not aware of the fact that this can cause that much level of massacre and mass killing?
I'm a scientist. My job is to create things. The use and the degree of their use is on the behalf of the military and the president.
If you are a scientist, then why were you quoting again and again, I have become death, the destroyer of world? So are you death or are you a scientist? Can you please clarify, Mr. Oppenheimer?
Yeah. First of all, the phrase that I quoted, it actually goes with when Krishna tells Arjuna that I am time and now I'm death, the destroyer. So in the essence of the situation, from what I felt, it was an immediacy that I spoke those terms. And this was just to show that the detonation of the bomb was a pivotal moment in the history of mankind.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oppenheimer, for telling me the quote and not answering my queries. For the jurors, please.
Okay, so Mr. Oppenheimer, post-war years, you advocated for international control over nuclear weapons. Yet the nuclear arms race between the US and the Soviet Union escalated rapidly. Do you feel that you, as the architect of the bomb could have done more to prevent the spread and proliferation of limited by your earlier involvement? Or were
Can you
there
please
missed
repeat?
opportunities to promote? I said that do you feel that you, as the architect of the bomb, you, as the creator of the bomb, would have done more to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons? Was your influence on nuclear policy
Yes,
limited, by your earlier involvement?
yes, we could have decreased the spread of the devastation by decreasing the critical mass that was going to explode. We didn't have the prior knowledge, it was just a starting point for us. So we exploded an excess amount of the uranium and polonium fuel. We could have used less, but I guess we didn't know. It's just an experiment, please.
Okay, so the Manhattan Project was, conducted in secrecy. Many of the scientists were unaware of it to the full extent of what they were building actually. So, do you think it was ethical to involve so many scientists and workers in a project of this scale, without fully informing them of its true purpose? Should greater transparency have been, part of the process, given the moral consequences of what you were calling, uh, saving of genocide?
I mean, I didn't recruit them. The recruitment was done by peers. Even I myself was recruited by them. I didn't insisted in creating. So I think that's the answer.
You didn't recruit them, but you should have, informed them about what you were creating at that point.
The information was so critical and confidential. I mean, anyone who knew what was going on would have turned on us. No one knew who was telling the truth, who was on our side. I think the era was of spies. We don't know.
Over to the other jurors, please.
Any more questions on the floor? Since there are no more questions from the jury. Sir, do you have any questions?
First of all, am I audible or not?
Okay, so at the end, one more question, Mr. Oppenheimer.
So
After
you
the
were
war,
audible.
you were after the war, you were stripped of your, security clearance due to some suspicions about your political associations and opposition to the hydrogen bomb. So, do you feel that your earlier work on the atomic bomb contributed to the growing paranoia of the Cold War and the increased, focus on weapons of mass destruction? Did your opposition to the hydrogen bomb reflect a deeper regret about the direction which nuclear weapons developing was heading?
Can you please repeat?
I said, do you feel that your earlier work on the atomic bomb contributed, to the growing of that this Cold War like situation era and the increased on weapons of mass distribution or mass destruction? Sorry, did your opposition to the nuclear weapons?
Yeah.
Did
Humans
your
have
opposition,
this tendency
your
of
opposition to the hydrogen? Did your opposition to the hydrogen bomb a deeper regret about the direction which nuclear weapon could have headed or could have created destruction.
Yeah, so I would like to say that humans have this tendency to assert dominance. That's the thing. For example, I'd like to mention Mikhail Kalashnikov, the guy who invented AK-47. He invented such a great and such a resilient weapon that it took lives of several people. And the country that creates most of it will assert dominance on the entire world. So I would say that the creation of atomic bomb was a pivotal moment. And sooner or later, if I wouldn't have done it, some scientist would have surely created it. And it was just a matter of time. And we have to safeguard us. So we tried everything to create it first, and hopefully we did.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Oppenheimer, for ducking my question like a batsman ducks to a bouncer.
Am I audible, guys? My voice
So your
audible?
voice is
Yes, sir, you
low,
are.
but you are audible.
So is it very low to the point of inaudibility?
No, sir, it is audible. You can speak.
Okay, cool. Uh, Dr. Oppenheimer, I don't have a lot of questions. Just two of them.
Yes.
Scientists are touted to be very precisely calculative, and nuclear scientists even more so, and they have to be very calculative. They cannot afford being miscalculative. Do you believe that the creation of the atomic bomb was nothing, but just a simple miscalculation?
No, it wasn't a miscalculation. It was a weapon that we created.
So you saying that it was miscalculation?
No, the amount of radioactive matter that should have gone critical was a lot. We could have reduced it. But the thing is that the imploding shell was not that perfect that we can put a lot of mass to criticality. So we have to use a lot to begin with.
What I know, you were also considering the possibility that the chain reaction would go uncontrollable at certain times. Then
Yeah, that was a
potential
concern that the chain reaction would set the entire atmosphere on fire. It was scorch the entire Earth. That was a concern, and
you were concerned. You were concerned.
yes, it was a concern because the experiment was going to happen for the first time. No one knew the
Another
outcome.
moment of concern, yes. So another moment of concern arose when you opposed the creation of the hydrogen bomb. So now, being the creator of the atom bomb, what gives you the moral authority to gauge or judge the creation of another similar, weapon of mass destruction, such as the hydrogen bomb? Was it that you wanted to be glorified as the creator of the most powerful weapon on the planet?
No one wants to be called the master of death. No one wants to be called that.
But you quoted that now I'm dead, destroyer of worlds. You didn't want it to be.
It was just in the essence of time, the situation. It was immediacy.
Thank you, Dr. Simon.
Well articulated,
Not jealous, please.
well articulated, very well delivered speech, Mohan. Thank you.
Thank you,
Up
ma'am.
next, we have Aditya Pandey from History. Aditya will be defending Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, and will be delivering speech. Aditya?
Good evening, respected ma'ams and respected sir. Respected ma'am, Aditya Pandey, first BTech Plastic Technology. सर कैन आई स्टार्ट? सम्मानित उत्तर प्रदेश वासियों, मीडिया के सदस्यों, आज मैं आप सभी के समक्ष हूँ ताकि सरकारी स्कूल की स्थिति को लेकर उठ रहे सवालों का जवाब दे सकूं। मैं मानता हूं कि हमारे सरकारी स्कूल की गुणवत्ता और बुनियादी 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 ढांचों को लेकर लोगों में चिंता है और ये मेरी जिम्मेदारी है कि मैं इस मुद्दे को ईमानदारी के साथ अपनी बात रख सकूं। मैं सबसे पहले ये कहना चाहता हूं कि उत्तर प्रदेश के शिक्षा व्यवस्था को सुधारने के लिए हमारी सरकार निरंतर प्रयासरत है। ये सच है कि अतीत में सरकारी स्कूल की स्थिति संतोषजनक नहीं थी, परंतु इस स्थिति को सुधारने के लिए हमारी सरकार ने बहुत महत्वपूर्ण कदम उठाए हैं। हमने सबसे पहले सरकारी स्कूल की बहुमुखी खंड को संभालने का कार्य किया। काफी स्कूलों में शौचालय, पेयजल और भवन जैसी समस्याएं थी, जिसे हम लोग ने सुधारने का कार्य किया है। सरकारी स्कूलों में स्मार्ट क्लासेज की शुरुआत की है, जिससे कि बच्चों को आधुनिक तकनीकी का लाभ मिल सके। इसी के साथ बच्चों को गुणवत्ता शिक्षा प्राप्त करवाने के लिए हम लोग ने शिक्षकों की कमी को भी दूर किया है और उनकी निरंतर ट्रेनिंग भी करवाई जा रही है। हमारी सरकार ने शिक्षा क्षेत्र के बजट में उल्लेखनीय वृद्धि प्राप्त की है। सरकारी स्कूल की शिक्षा के स्तर को बढ़ाने के लिए हमारी सरकार ने ऑपरेशन कायाकल्प, मिशन प्रेरणा जैसे योजनाएं भी चालू की हैं, जिसके तहत 1.5 लाख से अधिक सरकारी स्कूलों का नवीनीकरण करवाया जा चुका है और उनकी सुविधाओं को सुधारा जा चुका है। इसीलिए ये कहना कि हमारी सरकार सरकारी स्कूल की स्थिति को लेकर उदासीन है, ये गलत है। हमारी सरकार ने सरकारी स्कूल की स्थिति को सुधारने के लिए कई कठोर कदम उठाए हैं और आगे भी इसे सुधारने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है और आने वाले समय में आप इसका परिणाम देखेंगे। धन्यवाद।
योगी जी, आप अभी अभी आपकी सरकार ने मदरसों को जो फंडिंग जाती थी, जो गवर्नमेंट एड जाती थी, वो रोक दी है। तो इसको आप कैसे जस्टिफाई करेंगे?
आपका प्रश्न जायज है। मदरसों को जो फंडिंग जाती थी उसे पूरी तरह से नहीं रोका गया है, बल्कि वहाँ पे कुछ बदलाव किए गए हैं, जैसे कि उनके कोर्स को लेके, उनकी पढ़ाई को लेके।
उनकी जो फाइनेंशियल एड थी, आपने वो भी दसियों हजारों मदरसों की आपने फाइनेंशियल एड विड्रॉ कर ली है। तो आपको नहीं लगता कि ये चीज सिर्फ और सिर्फ एजुकेशन के ही फ्रंट पे नहीं, माइनॉरिटीज के राइट को लेके भी गलत है?
मेरी नज़र में मेरे प्रदेश में जैसे कि हिंदू हैं वैसे ही मुसलमान भी हैं, लेकिन हमारे शिक्षा क्रम में जो कि हमारे में पाठशाला में पढ़ाए जाते हैं, उसमें जो मेन सिलेबस है उसके लिए फंडिंग नहीं रोकी गई है। लेकिन देखा जाए तो हमारी सरकार में काफ़ी सारी स्कॉलरशिप भी दी जाती हैं और जो बच्चे जो काफ़ी इंटरेस्टेड होते हैं पढ़ाई में, उनकी मदद भी भरपूर की जाती है।
अच्छा, तो आप ये कह रहे हैं कि हिंदू मुसलमान बेकार, मतलब हिंदू मुसलमान बराबर है। तो आप ही की पार्टी की सरकार जो कर्नाटक में है, वो अपने यहाँ जो हिजाब पहन के आते हैं लड़कियां, उनको रोका गया था, शायद लास्ट ईयर की बात है, 23 की बात है, 22 की बात है। तो उसको कैसे आप डिफेंड करेंगे? आप ही की पार्टी की सरकार थी और आपका कुछ बयान भी नहीं आया शायद उस पर। क्या बोलेंगे आप उस पर?
ये क्वेश्चन वैसे बहुत
इस बारे में मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि जब सारे बच्चे एक साथ होते हैं तो मेरी नज़र में उनका ड्रेस कोड जो है वो सेम होना चाहिए, ताकि उनमें कोई भेदभाव ना हो कि जैसे कि हिंदू लोग हैं वैसे ही मुसलमान दिखें, ताकि पढ़ाई में उनका सिर्फ पढ़ाई के लिए ही कंपटीशन रहे ना कि उनके में ये भेदभाव है रिलीजन के लिए। इसलिए जो बुर्का पहन के आया जाता था उनसे ये प्रार्थना की गई थी कि आप जैसे नॉर्मल स्कूल की ड्रेस होती है उसमें आए।
तो हिंदू कलावा पहन के आ सकता है, हिंदू रुद्राक्ष पहन के आ सकता है, हिंदू जनेऊ पहन के आ सकता है, बट हिंदू महिलाएं मंगलसूत्र पहन के आ सकती हैं, बट मुसलमान लड़कियां अगर हिजाब पहनती हैं, मुसलमान लोग टोपी पहनते हैं, तो वो उसमें आपका ये हो जाता है कि ये यूनिफॉर्मिटी को डिस्टर्ब कर रहा है। तो ये चीज थोड़ी सही लग रही है क्या आपको?
कलावा और हिजाब
या
में
तो आप या तो
बहुत
आप ये कह दीजिए या तो आप ये कह दीजिए या तो आप ये कह दीजिए कि आप नहीं है सेकुलर, आप ये भी बोल रहे हैं कि हिंदू मुसलमान बराबर है।
देखिए, कलावा और हिजाब में बहुत डिफरेंस होता है। कलावा इतना वो नहीं अलग दिखता है, लेकिन हिजाब में यदि अगर आप किसी की एकदम ड्रेस ही अलग होगी, अगर हिंदू वही भगवा रंग का कुर्ता पहन के पेपर देगा तो उसे भी रोका जाएगा।
और अगर क्या आप ये बता सकते हैं कि हिंदू यूपी की जो टेक्निकल इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, जैसे कि अगर आप डीटीयू को देखेंगे तो डीटीयू कितना अच्छा कॉलेज है, एनएसयूटी को देखेंगे दिल्ली का है, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज कितना अच्छा है, जादवपुर यूनिवर्सिटी को देखेंगे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज कितना अच्छा है, बट आप यूपी में कोई ऐसा बता सकते हैं कॉलेज जो इतने अच्छे लेवल का हो, जैसे जादवपुर यूनिवर्सिटी है वेस्ट बंगाल में? क्या आप बता सकते हैं, और ऐसा क्यों नहीं है?
यूपी में ये जेएमयू है, एचबीटीयू है, ये सब गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज हैं जो कि काफी अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं अपनी फील्ड में, बच्चों को मतलब बहुत आगे तक पहुंचा रहे हैं।
रैंकिंग्स तो नहीं है, ना ही रैंकिंग्स हुए हैं ना ही पैकेजेस हुए हैं, आप कैसे जस्टिफाई करेंगे?
और सर ऐसा सर नहीं।
ना ही रिसर्च है, ना ही कोई रिसर्च पेपर पब्लिकेशन है, ना ही आप एनआईआरएफ में कहीं स्टैंड करते हैं।
हमारी
ओके, अदर यूनिवर्सिटीज।
हो गया आदित्यनाथ जी, मेरा तो आपसे एक ही प्रश्न है, क्योंकि आपने अभी अपनी स्पीच में बड़े गर्व से कहा कि हम स्कूलों में पेयजल लगवा रहे हैं, हम स्कूलों में कुर्सियां लगवा रहे हैं, मेजें लगवा रहे हैं, ब्लैक बोर्ड साफ करवा रहे हैं। लेकिन मैं आपसे जानना चाहता हूं कि आज कल का जो अभिभावक है वो क्या अपने बालक या बालिका को एक ऐसे स्कूल में भेजेगा जहां पर कपड़े अच्छे से मिलते हैं, टेबल साफ रहती है, या फिर ऐसे स्कूल में भेजेगा जहां पर अध्यापक अच्छा रहता है? क्योंकि पिछले 5 साल से किसी भी सरकारी अध्यापक की भर्ती का एग्जाम तो हुआ नहीं है, और जब होता है तो उसका पेपर लीक हो जाता है। तो इस पर आपका क्या टेक है, मैं जानना चाहता हूँ।
आपके प्रश्न के साथ मैं एग्री करता हूँ कि हमारे यहाँ जो अभी रिसेंट पेपर होते हैं जो वो लीक हो जाते हैं, मगर हमारी सरकार उस पे निरंतर काम कर रही है और उस पे कार्रवाई भी कर रही है।
करिएगा योगी जी, लेकिन प्रश्न का जवाब नहीं मिला। चलिए कोई बात नहीं, ये तो राजनीति का आपका पुराना खेल है। दूसरा मेरा प्रश्न और आखिरी प्रश्न मेरा आपसे केवल ये है कि आपने कहा कि हमने बजट में काफी बढ़ोतरी करी है, हमने बजट को काफी बढ़ा दिया जिससे शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में विकास होगा। योगी जी, मैं आपसे केवल ये पूछना चाहता हूँ कि पैसे भिजवाने से क्या होता है जब वो हमें दिख नहीं रहे? उत्तर प्रदेश के ऐसे काफी ग्रामीण इलाके हैं जहां पे मिड डे मील स्कीम तक अच्छे से काम नहीं कर रही। इस पर आपका क्या टेक है?
आपका प्रश्न उचित है। मैं इसमें ये कहना चाहूंगा कि ये जो समस्या है ये 1-2 साल पुरानी नहीं है, ये समस्या काफी पुरानी है, काफी शतकों से चलती आ रही है। समस्या बड़ी है, इसे हल करने में अभी समय लगेगा। मैं आपकी बात से सहमत करता हूँ कि अभी हम सारे स्कूलों को अभी उस लेवल का नहीं बना पाए हैं जो अभी होने चाहिए थे आधुनिक समय में। परंतु हमारी सरकार जो है निरंतर प्रयास कर रही है, अधिक से अधिक स्कूलों को अच्छा से अच्छा करने की कोशिश कर रही है, ताकि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा जो हमारे उत्तर प्रदेश के निवासी हैं अपने बच्चों को गवर्नमेंट स्कूल की तरफ भेजने के लिए प्रोत्साहित हों।
जी, बस मेरे एक प्रश्न का जवाब आप नहीं दे पाए कि सरकारी अभिभावकों के लिए एग्जाम कब आप करवाएंगे?
जी, आपके प्रश्न को ध्यान में रखते हुए मैं ये कार्य अपने कमेटी में ज़रूर रखूँगा और इसमें जल्द से जल्द इस एग्ज़ाम के लिए बात करूँगा।
अपनी कमेटी से कह दीजिएगा थोड़ी जल्दी कर दें, क्योंकि 27 में पेपर भी आपका भी है।
हाँ भाई।
माननीय योगी आदित्यनाथ जी, कोरोना महामारी के दौरान ऑनलाइन शिक्षा की बात की गई, आपके द्वारा डिजिटल क्लासेस लगाने की बात की गई, स्मार्ट बोर्ड्स लगाने की बात की गई, और भी कई सारे डिजिटल आप रेवोल्यूशन लाने वाले थे। लेकिन ज़मीनी स्तर पर कहीं भी कार्य नहीं दिखता है। इक्का-दुक्का 2-3 जगहों पर आपका डिजिटल बोर्ड आपने लगा दी है, उस पे ही आप प्रचार कर रहे हैं, उस पे ही आप फ़ोटोज़ खिंचवा रहे हैं। उसका भी आप नरेंद्र मोदी जी द्वारा ऑनलाइन उद्घाटन करवा रहे हैं और उस पे आप अपनी राजनीति खेल रहे हैं। लेकिन किंतु जहाँ पे सच में ज़रूरत है, जहाँ पे सच में अब अभिभावक अपने बच्चों को भेजते हैं, वहाँ पे इनका कोई असर नज़र नहीं आता है। सरकारी स्कूलों के ज़्यादातर बच्चे अपने संसाधनों की कमी के चलते उससे वंचित रह गए। क्या आपको नहीं लगता कि आपकी सरकार ने शिक्षा के डिजिटलीकरण के लिए पर्याप्त कदम नहीं उठाए हैं? पिछड़े इलाकों में बच्चों की पढ़ाई की क्षति को कैसे पूरा किया जाए?
मैं आपके प्रश्न से सहमत करता हूँ कि कोरोना महामारी के समय में हमारी सरकार डिजिटली में कहीं पीछे रह गई थी। परंतु फिर भी हमारी सरकार ने अपनी पूरी कोशिश की थी, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा तक पहुँच पाए। उत्तर प्रदेश जैसे कि सभी जानते हैं, काफ़ी बड़ा प्रदेश है, लेकिन उसमें मैं ये सहमत करता हूँ कि हम हर जगह तक डिजिटली नहीं पहुँच पाए थे। परंतु ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हमारी कोशिश थी जितने ज़्यादा स्कूल हम लोग कवर कर लें बच्चों की पढ़ाई के लिए, वहाँ तक हम लोग ने कोशिश की थी। और अभी भी निरंतर हम लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि पूरे प्रदेश में जितने भी स्कूल हैं, सबको डिजिटली कर सकें, ताकि जो बच्चे हैं, वो आधुनिक तकनीक का लाभ उठा सकें।
अगर है तो फिर वहाँ पे विधायक भी हैं। हाँ, तो मैं आपसे यही कहना चाहूँगा कि आपने जितने भी प्रश्न अभी आपसे किए गए, सब पे आपने यही कहा है, हम उस पे कार्य कर रहे हैं, हम कार्य करेंगे, हमारी बात चल रही है, किंतु कहीं भी कार्य दिख नहीं रहा है।
जैसे कि अभी मैंने बताया था, हम लोग 1.5 लाख से भी ज़्यादा सरकारी स्कूलों की नवीनीकरण करवा भी चुके हैं और काफ़ी सारे जगहों पे काफ़ी सरकारी स्कूल की हालत सही भी हो चुकी है। परंतु फिर भी वही वही बात आ जाती है कि अभी कुछ जगह बची है, जो कि मैं आश्वासन देता हूँ कि जल्द ही वो भी सही हो जाएगी।
मात्र नवीनीकरण से ही छात्र नहीं आते हैं सर। ना नवीनीकरण कर करके आप छात्रों को नहीं बुला सकते, आप अभिभावकों को कन्विंस नहीं कर सकते कि अपने छात्रों को वहाँ भेजें। आज कोई भी जितने भी सरकारी शिक्षक हैं या कोई भी सरकारी व्यक्ति है, वो अपने छात्रों को एक सरकारी स्कूल में नहीं भेजना चाहता है। उसका कारण यही है कि वो कितनी भी अच्छी बिल्डिंग्स हो, कितने भी अच्छे वहाँ पे संसाधन अवेलेबल हो, लेकिन ना तो वहाँ अच्छी शिक्षा हो रही है, ना ही वहाँ पे अच्छे शिक्षक हैं।
आपका प्रश्न उचित है कि शिक्षक अभी नहीं अच्छे हैं और जैसे कि अभी एक और जी ने पूछा था कि शिक्षकों का एग्ज़ाम लीक हो जाता है, उस पे सरकार हमारा कार्य चल रहा है, उसको ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा ध्यान दे के उसको सही किया जाएगा और अच्छे से अच्छे शिक्षकों को गवर्नमेंट कॉलेजेस में, गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स में उन्हें पहुँचाया जाएगा। उनकी ट्रेनिंग अच्छे से अच्छे करवाई जाएगी, ताकि सब प्रेरित हों अपने गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज में अपने बच्चों को भेजने के लिए।
जी योगी जी, अंत में मैं आपसे यही कहना चाहूँगा कि आप जो भी कार्य करवा रहे हैं, कृपया शीघ्र करें, वरना आपकी ही पार्टी का जो डायलॉग है कि अयोध्या तो बस झांकी है, सही हो जाएगा। 27 में।
अच्छा, एक सेकंड ईयर पूछना तो नहीं है ना कुछ? हम बखैर योगी जी, कैसे हैं आप?
बढ़िया।
योगी जी,
आप
बढ़िया बढ़िया जी। आपसे मेरा एक ही बहुत प्रश्न भी मुझे लगता है पूछा जाना चाहिए, पूछा गया नहीं। तो एक ही प्रश्न है, सवाल है, प्रश्न है। आप मुझे एक बात थोड़ा समझाएं कि आपका जो उत्तर प्रदेश की शिक्षा प्रणाली है, जितने भी शिक्षण संस्थान है, उसमें जो भ्रष्टाचार है, इतना प्रभावकारी है, उस पे आप चंद कुछ लफ्ज देना चाहें अगर, तो बड़ा एहसान होगा।
उत्तर प्रदेश में
आप शुरू
भ्रष्टाचार
बोलिए। उत्तर प्रदेश में
क्या
भ्रष्टाचार नहीं, मैं तो बस आपसे जो उत्तर प्रदेश में भ्रष्टाचार नहीं, मैं बस आपसे शिक्षण संस्थान है और जो शिक्षा प्रणाली, जितने भी संस्थान है, उनमें जितना भी प्रकार का भ्रष्टाचार हो रहा है, आपको उसकी कितनी जानकारी है और आप कुछ उस पर 2 लफ्ज बोलना चाहेंगे?
अ, शिक्षा प्रणाली में जो भ्रष्टाचार है, मैं उसमें यही बोलना चाहूँगा, हमारी सरकार आने से पहले ये जो हमारी शिक्षा प्रणाली में लोग
आप
भर्ती थे,
अपनी सरकार की बात
उसमें
करिए, सिर्फ अपनी सरकार, आपका जितना कार्यकाल रहा है उसकी बात सिर्फ।
हमा ओके, हमारी सरकार में भ्रष्टाचार को हम लोग ने काफ़ी कम कर दिया है और आने वाले समय में इसको शिक्षा प्रणाली से एकदम मिटा देंगे। लेकिन बात देखी जाए तो पूरे सिस्टम को बदलने में अभी समय लगता है क्योंकि प्रॉब्लम जो है वो काफ़ी बड़ी है और इसे सॉल्व करने के लिए थोड़ा-सा समय लगेगा।
देखिए, जो बुद्धिजीवी तबका होता है समाज का, उसमें अक्सर करके जो वार्तालाप होता है, बातचीत होती है, वो आंकड़ों में की जाती है। आंकड़ों के तहत आप पे कुछ भी बोलने के लिए है, या जो आप बिना नीड की बातें अभी तक बताए जा रहे हैं कि सुधार होगा या ये होगा, तो ठीक है, बिल्कुल हम आपके समर्थन में हैं पूर्ण तरीके से, और हम किसी भी तरीके से आपका विरोध नहीं हम दर्शाना चाहते। हमने बस एक सवाल का जवाब दीजिए कि आपके समय में आप आंकड़े कितने में बता सकते हैं, तो कितनी गहराई तक आपके पास जानकारी है कि शिक्षा संस्थानों में, शिक्षा प्रणाली में भ्रष्टाचार अपना फैला हुआ है, उस पर कुछ भी आप बताना चाहते हैं?
माफ करिएगा, इस पे ज़्यादा जानकारी नहीं है।
चलिए, कोई बात नहीं। आदित्य, वैसे ना ये बहुत बेसिक क्वेश्चन है कि
ऐसा
करप्शन यूपी एजुकेशन सिस्टम, यूपी एजुकेशन सिस्टम से ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो है उस पे तो कर लेते, रिसर्च तो बेसिक रिसर्च तो सकता था। हाँ ठीक है, नेक्स्ट कोई रह गया है वैसे अभी क्वेश्चन? हाँ है।
सॉरी सर, आपकी आवाज़ कट गई बीच में।
नहीं, मैं बोल रहा था कि आगे बढ़ सकते हैं हम लोग, सेकेंड ईयर से बोल रहा था।
Thank you
आदित्य,
very
वैसे
much,
यार
Aditya.
यूपीजी में बहुत पोटेंशियल था, यूपीजी तो बहुत अच्छे से किए जा सकते थे, काफी बेहतर किए जा सकते थे।
Next, we have Anshika Bhatnagar, first BTech Information Technology. Anshika will be playing Shylock. Anshika, please speak in the defense of the character.
Respected ma'ams and respected sirs. Today I'm portraying a character that's Shylock from The Merchant of Venice by William Shakespeare. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, today I stand here as a man who seeks justice. I'm standing here just not for defending myself, but I want to make you all look into your heart and just ask the question that was the judgment given to me was fair enough? I, Shylock, are Jew, yes, but I'm also a human being, deserving all the rights and the dignity that you people would claim for yourselves. Why I'm here today? Just because I have signed a contract, a legal binding contract with Antonio. I loaned him 3,000 ducats, but now when he's not able to repay it, you have painted me as a villain for just asking what is rightfully mine. I was wronged, I was insulted and disgraced by Antonio and others like him. He called me cutthroat dog and a misbeliever, which was a complete disdain for my religion. I was disgraced by him, hindered by him. 500,000 laughed at my losses, mocked at my gains, and scorned my nation, fooled my friends, hated my enemies. What's the reason? That I'm a Jew. If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? So when you wrong us, shall we not revenge? I demand nothing more than for under the law, and I have a right for its fulfillment. I ask for what is mine. Thank you.
So, Shylock, first quickly tell me, you believe Antonio disdained your religion. He mocked at you for your losses and your gains. So you are asking us to judge if the decision in the court of law is right or wrong. Uh, you were saying that the decision put upon you by the court of law was wrong. But do you not think that plotting a murder against someone is wrong? And the same court will award you with the life of the person you hate.
It was not a plotting of murder. It was a contract, a legal contract. And Antonio was aware of it, that I was demanding for 1 pound of flesh, which is so common sense that it could take his life. But then why did he sign it if he was knew about its consequences? That's the question. Why did he sign that? And if he signed it, so he has to follow that. That's under the law.
So you claim that it was not a plot of murder, but you ask the pound of flesh from the very area of his chest which will cause him the loss of his life.
It's a common sense that he should know the consequences before signing the contract, and he should have not signed that contract.
So isn't it the law that isn't it the law that stopped you from making him sign the contract, and the same law you thought you will be getting your justice?
Sorry, I didn't
Okay,
understand your question.
I'll re-ask your question. I'm again sticking to your speech that you were claiming that the decision by the court of law was wrong.
Exactly, it was. It was wrong. It was just from one perspective. They all looked just from Antonio's side. Nobody looked from my side that what I have gone through, what I have seen in my life. Why? Why just one side?
Sherlock,
Just because he was Christian.
Do you blame Antonio for all the wrongdoings you have ever suffered or all the sufferings you've gone through? Do you blame Antonio for that?
Yes, exactly. I blame him because he
What is
was
the
also
reason?
the
And why do you
reason.
think that it is dependent on the race between Jews and Christianity? Justify that too.
Antonio was the person who disgraced me, who put marks at me, and that's why I am against him.
So you basically had that contract signed because you had personal grudges against Antonio because Antonio, according to you, had disgraced you and has mocked you and downgraded you and like troubled you, put you through sufferings, according to your perspective. That's
Why
correct,
do
right?
I show him mercy when he didn't show me?
According to you, what is mercy if you think Antonio never showed you that?
Treating a person like a dog. Is it right? Treating a
If I'm
person.
not wrong, didn't you multiple times call him a dog, abuse him, and used slang, those abusing slang words against Antonio and other Christians as well? Like, I don't think there's much distinction between the way he treated you and the way you treated him. What's the difference between you two?
There's no difference, and I don't want to create a difference. Why to create a difference? When they can do, so why can't I do?
When
If
you're
they
saying
this
there's no
villainy, so
difference,
I would execute it.
you just said there's no difference. I do find one difference. Antonio never claimed to take Antonio never actually took a life. Never, he was never hostile, and he never actually went through with a murderous plan or anything. But you had malice in your mind. You did, and you did plan it. You were hostile, and you were ready to take a life. I think that's a very clear
My
distinction.
my intentions were not to take a life. It was just a bond that I want a pound of flesh. And if Antonio was not ready to give it, then he should have not signed it. Simple. It's a simple thing. If he
Accord-
signed it, so it's become a legal document. Then why is all going there?
So, according to you, offending you is worth a death penalty, right? Like offending any human If someone offends a human, that human has the right to claim the other person's life. Like he can ask for his death. Is that true?
It's not, I agree to it. But the circumstances differs. And over here, the situation is different. You can't compare the situation to everything.
Okay, may I take over, Meenakshi?
Yes, you can.
Shylock, you are saying that the court was wrong. So, don't you think that saying that the court was wrong or is wrong is actually a contempt of court? I mean, this
It's
is this
not
is an actual trial.
it's not only the court is included, even other people. They all have planned and they all plotted against me.
But you said the court was wrong. So if the court is wrong, then technically it is contempt of court. You cannot say in a public domain that the court was wrong.
The court, if it's a
If
court,
the court was wrong, let me tell you, if the court is wrong, you can challenge the judgment in a higher court. You cannot say that the court was wrong or the court is wrong. You cannot say that the verdict of the Supreme Court was wrong. So that would count as a contempt of court. So what you are doing
from
right
my
now is a contempt of court.
from my perspective, the court is wrong because they have only heard the one side. They never went towards me. They never asked me that why did I do that.
Okay, you are saying that the
So why
court was
you
wrong. They all planned against you. They all took out their grudge against you. You wrapped up the court of law with this too. So weren't you the one who knocked the doors of the court of law first?
Yes, I do.
exactly?
Because I
So
always
how do
abide
you
by the
have the
law.
right? So
Wha-
you always abided by the law. So how do you have the right to call out the court of law that they were unjust to you?
I'm telling it now that they didn't look into my part. They just went to Antonio what they said they think that that was correct and they gave judgment as per one side. I went to
So
court
if
because
they
Antonio had break that bond.
so if
But
so
they did
you
not.
claim they didn't listen your side of story. So weren't you the one giving long monologues in the court of law? And how can you claim they didn't listen to your side of story?
And Mr. Shylock, the court never blocked your 1 pound of flesh. The court said you can take it, but at the condition that you won't spill a drop of blood, and that Antonio's life should not be at stake. So you cannot say that the court denied you a pound of flesh.
Yes. So try and
Think
wrap
of
this up.
spilling of blood.
Hello.
Uh,
Yes.
it was mentioned that I would take a pound of flesh. So it should be like the Antonio should be aware that taking a pound of flesh would never be possible if the blood is not if there is no blood.
But it was not in the contract. Only a pound of flesh was in the contract. The blood was not in the contract. So you yourself are breaching your own contract.
So it's a common sense. How could you take a pound of flesh without a drop of blood falling on the ground?
How how can you ask for a pound of flesh when you laid 3,000 decades? Isn't it? Where is your common sense and where is your morality when you ask uh, for a pound of flesh in exchange for 3,000 decades?
Asking for a pound of flesh was never under my morality. It was the revenge that I wanted.
You don't
So
think
you
that's
are saying that your intent was revenge. You are
Guys,
saying that your intent was revenge, and you expect
simple
the
question
court
routine
to deliver justice, even though your intent was revenge. And you are saying that the verdict of the court was wrong.
Because that's the only way possible that could give my dignity back to me, which would have taken my Antonio and other Christians like him.
Anshika, please stop. Nihar sir is speaking.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I was saying
Sorry,
that
Snehal sir, please.
so the questions are now getting redundant actually. So better than recycling the same questions, you as well move ahead with the participants. And because we have, I guess, two more participants left in the queue, and it's almost 15 past midnight.
Yes.
So please refine your questions and ask one at max one question now. Because it's just cross the threshold of this.
I just
Anyway,
wanna ask
yes.
one thing from this Shylock. If don't Shylock, don't you think if everyone is against you or if everyone is telling you that you're in the wrong and you're standing in the court against everyone, don't you think has it never occurred to you that maybe you're in the wrong? Have you even tried to analyze your actions, or are you just blaming everyone? Because as far as I remember, you were very in favor of the court, all the decisions, you were upholding the law up till the point where you were getting the what you wanted. But when Portia defended it, when Portia found the loophole, and after that, when you didn't get your pound of flesh, you cursed the court as well. And you said you supported the statement that the court was wrong and everybody was corrupted and everything like that. So don't you think, have you never analyzed your actions? Why were you so bigotry? Like you instantly changed your statements against court as soon as you didn't get what you wanted. What are your comments on this?
It was like, as per I said, again, I'm saying this, that as per my bond, there was a contract signed and it was a law that it has to be followed. And uh,
No, you're repeating the same thing.
Okay,
Think about
again
this
comes the
question and
law,
then,
again comes the contract. I think we
yeah,
should wrap this up.
don't repeat the
Thank you.
same thing. If you can think about it and answer, then answer.
Guys,
If
I
you
feel
can't,
we
then
keep
let it
repeating
be.
our arguments again and again. I feel we need to wind this up.
Call the next participant now.
Hold up, Rohan, can you answer this? Do you
What?
think you can answer this? The question I asked just now. Do you want to?
No, because uh, we
Alright,
need
let's move on
we
then.
don't have too much time. I'll have a debate later.
Thank you very much, Anshika. Now we have Prakriti Gupta from Plastic Technology. Prakriti will be defending Barack Obama, and the medium of delivery will be Prakriti. You have the floor for yourself. Please defend the character.
Yes, ma'am.
So, guys, is she the last candidate, Prakriti?
Yes, sir.
Ayush, is he from the second year or he's from the first year? Ayush, you can see your name Ayush.
Yes, sir. Sir, Vayu Joshi.
It is our Ayush, okay, no problem.
Sir, she is coming. Wait just a second.
No issues, no issues. I'm just checking.
Sir, may I start?
Yes, Padma, go on.
Yes, yes.
Hello.
Go
A
ahead,
very good
Padma.
afternoon to all the hello. A very good afternoon to all the respected seniors and esteemed members of the discussion. My name is Prakriti Gupta and my branch is First BTech Plastic Technology. As I stand before you today, I, I want to address a topic that has sparked heated debate: my decision to use drone strikes as a part of our counter-terrorism efforts. As a president, I made the decision to utilize drone strikes as a part of our counter-terrorism efforts for several reasons. First and foremost, I believed that drone strikes were an effective tool for targeting high terrorists, especially in regions where traditional military operations would have been difficult or even impossible. These strikes allowed us to take action against groups like all Al Qaeda and other actions
against extremist organizations that posed an immediate threat to our national security. I understood that one of the key advantages of drone strikes was their precision. Unlike larger military operations, we can lead to significant collateral damage. Drone strikes are designed to be more targeted. Excuse me. This precision allows us to minimize civilian casualties, which is a critical concern for me and my administration. I always emphasized the importance of protecting innocent lives while still addressing the threats we faced. However, I also recognized the ethical implications of using drone strikes. It was essential for us to have a strict process in place to ensure that we have only targeting individuals who pose a genuine threat. In conclusion, while the use of drone strikes in our counter-terrorism efforts sparked a significant debate, I firmly believed that they were a vital role in our fight against terrorism. By focusing on precision and adhering to strict civilian casualties, while effectively targeting to those who posed a threat to our national security. Ultimately, my commitment was to protect our citizens and uphold our values, ensuring that our actions contributed to a safer world for everyone. Thank you for your attention and consideration. Your understanding of my views and the complexities of my decision means a great deal to me. Thank you so much.
Okay, so Mr. Barack Obama, you have stated that drone strikes are a precise tool for targeting terrorists. However, many reports suggest that the intelligence and to authorize these strikes, that authorization of these strikes have sometimes found to be flawed. What measures did your administration take to ensure that the intelligence was accurate and reliable before carrying out such lethal actions? Were there any oversight mechanisms to review the intelligence before drone action is taken?
Of course, the strikes were 100% truth as the strikes were started in 2009 and it continued to till 2017. So, in this period of years, the drone strikes increased approximately to 2 times from 2010. So these were actually these were truth, and there were no second thoughts about these drone strikes.
No, but I asked about the reliability of those drone strikes, the intelligence required in that, because many reports suggest that your intelligence agencies have not found the accurate details about the terrorists and have not attacked the accurate locations, and that have resulted to many casualties of the people who are actually not targeted by you. So what is the reliability? What is the, that efficiency of your drone strikes, your lethal drone actions?
I just want to say that drone strikes are really effective as compared to military troops' actions or attacks, as there are more casualties, civilian casualties, as well as military troops' casualties in military operations. As when our American troops go for military operations, the 100% risk of their life is there. But in drone strikes, there is a precision that we can point out the main place of terrorists, and we can just attack them and save the American troops from civilian casualties.
Mr. Obama,
Okay, so you
looking at
stated,
what I
just a
have,
minute, last question, Aryan.
yes.
Last question, Aryan. You stated that the use of drones is, intended to minimize the US military and US military's presence abroad. However, do you think this strategy risks normalizing extrajudicial killings as a foreign policy tool? How do you ensure the future administration do not, misuse this precedent? What safeguards are in place to, prevent the manner and measures of drone strikes in future conflicts?
There are many measures which are taken as I also continued the legacy of drone strikes from my previous president, from the previous president of USA, who was 43rd
Finished.
president of USA. I
Who
just
was he?
continued the legacy. Sorry, I can't recollect, but I just followed the legacy, and I feel that the next who is coming after, who will come next after me, he or she will also go through all the measures and just go through all the plans which are engineers and which are people made from all the which they made very precisely to protect the people who are in USA military as well as civilians, and they will surely follow to the guidelines.
But what if they do not? Because the drone strikes have caused some sort of long-term instabilities in the Middle East region. How do you address the argument that drone strikes may also fuel radicalization rather than diminish it?
Sorry, sir, please can you pardon the question?
I said that drone strikes have often caused instabilities in the Middle East region. So how do you address the argument that drone strikes may cause radicalization, may fuel radicalization rather than decreasing it?
Sir, these are the ethical implications because they include risk of civilian casualties. And critics argue that the value of human life should be prioritized, and the collateral damage can lead to suffering and resentment among the affected communities. So,
You didn't understand my question. Well, I don't think you were. I think you were reading some script from somewhere. My basic question was, how will you stop radicalization? Anyways, over to the other jurors, please.
Mr. Obama, first of all, very good evening. See, I want to tell
good
you
evening,
that
sir.
you were lying when you said that you were continuing the legacy of the previous presidents, because the presidents who were before you, that is, I take the example of Mr. George Bush, he conducted 57 drone strikes, you conducted 507 drone strikes. That was 10 times first thing. Secondly, Mr. Obama, you said in your speech while answering Mr. Kishle's question that you never wanted to risk lives of your soldiers or your army officers or soldiers. That's why you conducted drone strikes. So just to save the lives of your army men, are you risking the lives of civilians living in various regions like Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Yemen? Can you please justify this?
Sir, I increased the drone strikes 10 times as I felt that there is a need of drone strikes more than military operations. As our trained army officers are really skilled, and if we will risk casualties of our trained military troops, our military will be weakened. And as but and from the drone strikes, only not only military troops are saved, also there is a less risk of civilian casualties, as when we perform a military operation, more civilian casualties happen. But if we see in case of drone strikes, there are less civilian casualties as well as less military troops casualties. So I think as comparing military troop operations and drone strikes, I think drone strikes are far much better than that.
Why you risk the lives of various civilians living there to save the lives of your army men? Just answer me with a yes or no. Is this statement true or not?
No, sir. No, sir. When we perform military operations, both civilian casualties and military troops casualties happen at a large in a large amount. But when we perform drone strikes, they are very precise, and they are designed very specially that specifically that they only target the places where the people who are actually related to the threat, they are only attacked. So, from drone strikes, we get a benefit or advantage of saving the civilians as well as the military troops. It has two advantages. That's it.
Okay, so Mr. President, according to you, drone strikes are very effective, but can you explain why the military presence in Afghanistan was continuously increasing under your administration, or while you were performing back-to-back drone strikes? So can you explain that? I mean, according to you,
Sorry, sir.
drone strikes. Okay.
Sir, I can't recollect the Afghanistan part, so I can't answer this.
Other jurors, please.
Any further questions? So, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. No
Thank you,
questions.
Prakriti.
Thank you to all the seniors. Thank you.
With this, we come to the end of today's event. I would firstly like to thank all the seniors, especially Nehasa, for being throughout the event and helping us with this. I would also like to
ठीक है
extend my thanks to my
चलो ठीक है, फॉर्मेलिटीज आई डोंट थिंक आर नेसेसरी, अभी सब टीममेट्स ही है ना। अभी शायद सर आएंगे, सर का टेक्स्ट आया तो था कि मुझे इन्फॉर्म कर देंगे, अगर मैं आ सकता हूँ तो आ जाऊंगा। किसी का करवा चौथ तो नहीं छूट गया भाई? कुछ ऐसा तो नहीं था कि किसी को जाना था? हाँ बोलो बोलो, कोई कुछ हुआ हो कि क्लाइंट के चक्कर में करवा चौथ थे? क्योंकि मेरे बहुत सारी चीजें छूट गई हैं, मतलब करवा चौथ तो नहीं छूटा बट टाइम पे छूट
फिर
गया,
वो
तो ये
2
हुआ
घंटे
था।
का ब्रेक मिला था ना बीच में, तभी जान निकला था बस।
हाँ फिर ठीक है, फिर तो इट्स ऑल सॉर्टेड। अच्छा, अब मैं तुम लोगों से पहले पूछूंगा कि तुम अपना रिव्यू दे दो, इस ओवरऑल जो प्रोसेस लगा तुम्हें कैसा लगा? वो बहुत ज्यादा टायरिंग था या रिपीटेटिव हो गया था या कुछ भी
सर
जो तुम्हें लगता है,
अच्छा
क्योंकि
था,
मेरे पास है।
सर
अच्छा था,
बहुत
मजा आया।
सर बहुत एग्जॉस्टिंग था बट बहुत मजेदार था।
परसों लगा ना तुम्हें?
Sir,
For I
somewhere
think
it became
हाँ, बोलो बोलो।
sir, somewhere
Pratik
it
Gupta.
became a competition among the jurors that who will ask more questions or who will ask more tougher questions.
एग्जैक्टली। अरे मैं इस चीज पे मैं
मैंने
खुद यार
एक सवाल पूछा या 2 सवाल पूछे सर, मैंने इससे ज्यादा नहीं पूछा सर, आप देख रहे हैं।
अरे अरे भाई डिफरेंट मत
सर
करो,
आई
मैं
जस्ट
फिर
थिंक
ट्रायल नहीं करना, ट्रायल खत्म हुई।
थिंग्स गॉट टू
हाँ
हीटेड
वो
अप, मतलब जब वो इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक्स आ रहे थे तो jurors were feeling those emotions as well and things just got heated up and
You too got cheated up.
एक्सपीरियंस हमने भी लिया है।
जूरर्स जूरर्स हाँ जूरर्स दूसरे लोग, हम तो नहीं थे। अच्छी बात है, बट ये है, मुझे ये लग रहा था ना कि जब क्वेश्चनिंग कर रहे थे ना, तो एक तो बहुत ज्यादा इमोशनली कनेक्टेड थे टॉपिक से, दूसरा यार कई सारे क्वेश्चंस तो बहुत ऑफ टॉपिक थे, मतलब आउट ऑफ कंटेक्स्ट, जो क्या है ना कि प्रचलित विवाद है उनको उठा के यहाँ बीच में ला दो ताकि सवाल बन जाए। मुझे तो ये लगा, कई जगहों पे लगा था, और मैंने टोका भी था इसीलिए ना कि आउट ऑफ कंटेक्स्ट, आज को स्पेसिफिकली बोला था मैंने। जैसे उसमें एक सवाल आया था
हाँ,
कि
वो हिजाब वाला थोड़ा आउट ऑफ कंटेक्स्ट।
तो ये जबरदस्ती मत पूछो ना, क्योंकि देखो अगर कोई दे पा रहा है तो फिर आगे का भी दे ही देगा, अगर उसने पहले का ही बहुत ऑन पॉइंट दिया है ना। अब ये जजिंग लिटरली कर रहे हो ना यहाँ पे, तो तुम जज तो करना ही है, क्योंकि अब जैसे जो तुगलक कैरेक्टर थी भाई, मेरा माइक खराब हो गया उस टाइम पे, मैंने प्रिपेयर किया था। सर ने तो उससे सवाल पूछा था कि सर धड़सड़क कर देंगे कि नहीं, मैं स्टार्ट ही करने वाला था ना कि हुजूर अगर मैं आपसे ज्यादा सवाल नहीं पूछूंगा क्योंकि मुझे अपना सर सलामत चाहिए, तो मैं बोलने वाला था, मेरा माइक एक तो खराब हो गया। और तुगलक से मैं वही था ना, तो अब जब हिस्टोरिकल टॉपिक है, हिस्टोरिकल टॉपिक में एक तो चीज मुझे सबसे पहले समझ में आ रही थी ना कि भाई इसकी रिसर्च चेक कर लेता हूँ, समझा सकें आप अगर अपनी जो भी पॉलिसीज थी, तो पॉलिसीज तो नहीं, जो भी उर्दू शब्द था, अरे मैंने उर्दू में ट्रांसलेट किया था यार, एक एक वर्ड जो मेरे दिमाग में आ रहा था,
नीतियाँ।
इसीलिए वो उस टाइम पे।
पॉलिसीज का उर्दू
क्या?
शायद नीतियाँ होगा।
नहीं, नीति तो शायद हिंदी शब्द है। हिंदी
नहीं, वो भी हिंदी के है, नीति भी।
नीति हिंदी है, नीति हिंदी है ना, तो मतलब मैं वो ढूंढ रहा था यार, उसमें क्या हुआ, माइक खराब हो गया मेरा, सर पूछने लगे तो मैंने इंटरप्ट किया नहीं। और एक अच्छा बीच में एक थोड़ा सा ठीक जो कैंडिडेट आया था, वो एक्लिप्स से लोराइन करके जो था, जो ओपनहाइमर बना था, तो इनेक्ट करने की कोशिश तो कर रहा था वो, कम से कम कुछ किया हो ना किया हो, इनेक्टमेंट उसका प्रॉपर रहा था। कैरेक्टर
Yes,
ब्रेक करने
Mohan
वाली जो
Gupta.
बात होती है,